What's going on, guys? We are back after some technical difficulties for a moment. We are here to talk about a lot of things going from the Royal Rumble to the Super Bowl, that NBA, Australian Open, all that and more. We are Sports Moves, 2 Moody's,
1 Duty.
Sports. Let's get into it. What is going on, guys? We are back. As always, it is C. Moody here with
D. Moody.
And we are Sports Moves, 2 Moody's,
1 Duty.
Sports. I don't know if anybody gets notified about us, like, starting our shows. If you have, and you were listening to us as we started, you might have heard us start and stop. We had a little bit of technical difficulties. I mean, it wasn't that long, so you might not have missed it. So if you didn't, don't worry about what I'm saying right now. We're back for a new week. We got a recap on the Royal Rumble, WWE throughout the week as we start our road to WrestleMania. Also, NBA action. We had somebody have a legendary night this past week. Also, who won in the Australian Open tennis that we were talking about for the last couple of weeks, as well as getting ready for this Sunday Super Bowl, New England Patriots, Philly Eagles. But before we get into all that, I just want to kick off the show by appreciating all the people who've been watching us. I just want to acknowledge some of the people. Ashburn, Virginia, you are always on the board. So it's like a big shout out to them for always watching, always on board. Latta, South Carolina, because as of late, I've seen you up there constantly. It was Timminsville, but now I've seen Latta. I don't know what happened to Timminsville. Maybe we lost service from them. I don't know what
Hopefully they'll come back. They'll come back.
But also some new figures, well, some new places I see up here. Scottsdale, Arizona.
West Coast action.
Right. And also, this is a hard word. Enumclaw, Washington. I'm going to let you see it. Maybe you can pronounce that better than I can.
That's how I would say it, brother.
Yeah.
Claw.
The Claw. We
Claw.
Appreciate you
for
tuning in. And also, second time since last week, Israel is still watching us. So whoever it is, we were just talking about wondering, is it actual natives or is it like someone deployed from somebody we know? Or either way, for all of you guys, we appreciate you, and we ask to continue to watch us and then follow us on social media, preferably Twitter, where D Moody holds the helm, and you can follow us there at Sports Moods. And I promise, guys, I'm gonna get it together. Follow us where I work at on Instagram at It's Sports Moods. So just wanted to knock that out. I just want to go ahead and show our appreciation to the people who do follow us, just to kick it off. But now we got to talk about this Royal Rumble, man. How did you do you want to overall rate it now, or you want to wait till after we talk about it?
We can kind of go through it.
Okay.
I mean, just how I felt about it. It wasn't half bad. I would say the 2 Rumble matches were okay for me.
Okay.
I didn't have an issue with the Rumble matches. I know we saw some guest appearances, and we'll kind of go through that. The Rumble matches were okay. The matches that got me were the actual championship matches.
Yeah.
The tag team matches, I really wasn't blown away by that. The AJ Styles versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn match. I mean,
that's what kicked off the Royal Rumble.
It kicked it off, and it was just like, I know it's AJ Styles, and you want to kind of get that it factor on the board first to try to draw the crowd in early, but it just didn't do anything for me.
Well, I feel like what that match was We just start off with that match, the AJ versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn handicap match for the title. They're starting to give AJ Styles the Brock Lesnar build up for WrestleMania.
Okay, elaborate on that for me.
Because think about it. Since last WrestleMania, they've been building up Brock Lesnar to seem as this unpassable person.
Understood.
And each match he gets into, they've been making him look more human, but still overcoming the odds every time.
Understood.
So now, for AJ Styles to kick off the road to WrestleMania, they put him in a handicap match to have to overcome something to show that, oh snap, AJ Styles beat two men at one time. Mm-hmm. That's another notch off of what AJ Styles is building into WrestleMania. That's just how I
guess I could see it too, and then how he beat Jinder when everybody on the roster really, Shinsuke couldn't get past Jinder, even though we know what WWE's plan was around him.
Right. And
you had Randy Orton who couldn't get past him, and then AJ was the lone competitor who overcame him and then was able to retain his title versus Jinder as well. So I guess I can see it, but I guess I wasn't really as committed to this. I know Sami Zayn is new in the mix with this, but we've seen Kevin Owens and AJ Styles for much of last year.
Yeah.
And the way the match finished, it's like I feel like you're taking us back down this road again. Like, how many times have we seen AJ Styles, Kevin Owens battle for the U.S. title, and it's some kind of crazy finish with the ref forgot to do this or the ref didn't see that. Kevin Owens is complaining, the ref did this, the ref. That's what brought about that whole Shane McMahon rivalry with that.
Honestly, with that situation with the tag thing that they, was making it controversial about, I feel like that was legit botched. Like, I feel like that was supposed to be a tag. It's supposed to be Kevin Owens, legit person in, and, take the L, take the pin. But since they saw that it was botched, it was easier for them to keep that angle going. Because, whether you use that angle or not, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn backstage beating up Ty Dillinger during the Royal Rumble for them, it just literally goes off of their anger of being upset. I understood
that part of it, yeah.
So I feel like that part was just something botched, and now they're just going with it, personally speaking.
Because they felt like, we got to get another shot at this, because if we get in the Rumble, one of us get in there and can win it, we eliminate someone or hurt them before they can even go out, we'll still have a chance to...
Bada boom.
There you go. I guess I could see it, but I still wasn't impressed by this match at all. And then what was the match after that? I think they went into the Rumble after that, right?
No.
Was it another match after the
2 out of 3 pinfalls?
Oh yeah, the Usos. Yeah. Yep. Now I know they're building up the Usos as this formidable tag team. They got the tag division on lock, as they like to say. And I agree with it, but I really think with the talent of Benjamin and Gable and the Usos, I saw these guys live a couple weeks ago, and just seeing it in person for myself, they could have put on a better match than what they did. Now, I understand the time probably was limited with the...
I think that's what it was all about.
But why make it a 2 out of 3 falls then? If you knew a 2 out of 3 falls match it's going to go the distance in a sense.
Yeah.
But I feel like, or they could have did like they did with... who was it a couple months ago? The Hardys and I think it was Sheamus and Cesaro they went against, and they timed it. So put a time limit on it. However many falls, whoever has the most falls at the end of this 20-minute or 25-minute timetable, as opposed to trying to not have a limit on the match and then have to have a rush finish. I really didn't like the finish. It kind of showed the Usos escaping, but they're building themselves as this formidable, you can't beat us, we're going to lock you down type thing.
They're a heel face kind of team, so that kind of, even though I didn't like it either, but that still in a sense can play into, just like the Miz, he escaped winning championships, but then next week he comes back and say, I am the greatest Intercontinental Champion. So
I get it, but I guess we expect that with the Miz. With the Usos, I feel like they're the type of people who can talk the junk, talk the smack, and back it up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I don't like to see them just escape. If they do, at least give it a great match quality.
Right.
And I just felt like maybe they were rushed for time. But did this really have to be a 2 out of 3 falls match? I mean, it was okay. I guess the point got
Because the first
across.
pinfall was good.
Yeah, it was. And then it was like the Usos hit back-to-back on them. And it was just like Gable was there to try to break it up, but he was just a second too late.
Yeah.
So,
I guess I will say this from a creative standpoint. Sure, because we're used to hearing a 2 out of 3 pinfall match. Well, I know what's going to happen. One team get one, the other team get one, and now the last match is the real match. So it's like instead now we saw him boom take 2 and out. So it I can say even though I didn't like how that it went. The second pinfall was too short or whatever. I was genuinely surprised. I wasn't expecting it as of the usual format for 2 out of 3 pinfall matches. So okay. I'll say that much for it.
Cool. So the Usos retained the SmackDown Live Tag Team Championships. I mean, they've pretty much held the titles the better part of the year after a little flip-flop with the New Day there in their rivalry a couple months ago. But other than that, Usos have pretty much been the team to beat.
Since we're talking about championships, which wasn't apparent during the Royal Rumble, but something that we haven't talked about, speaking of champions, is Enzo Amore has been released by WWE amid allegations of investigation that technically has been going on since last October and November. Mm-hmm. And due to the fact that WWE just found out about it, and more so that Enzo knew about it and never addressed WWE about the matter, which mm-hmm. is what led to them releasing Enzo. So, of course, with that happening, the title is now vacant. Open. Yeah, it's vacant now. So now, soon, which I know this week, and I didn't watch it, I missed that. With 205 Live, they were supposed to name a new general manager and then kind of have that either a match or a qualifier for that match. Mm-hmm. So, just wanted to say that because I know that actually was going on a week or so ago.
Me Enzo Honore is gone?
Yes. Man, I'm upset, man. That genuine. I mean, now I'll say this: for what he did, I'm glad he's gone, because if he really did sexually harass somebody or whatever, then he deserves to be punished. But for the character he was building to be, it puts me in a bad mood to see him go. That's me. That's just
it.
Me.
It didn't put me in a bad mood. Sayonara.
No, man. So.
Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. But, I mean, I do hate to see anybody lose their job. But, I mean, sometimes we just make, bad decisions that affect other things in our lives as far as our livelihood. So, and
last time I checked, as far as Rich Swann, which is somebody else was dealing with some charges mm-hmm. with the situation with this his wife or his partner. I don't know if his wife or girlfriend or whatnot. I heard that the charges are being dropped last time I saw about it. So we could possibly see him in the near future.
Could.
So, but now, going back to, and since we're talking about charges and stuff, just made me think, which another thing I was scared about for the Usos is because if you don't know, Jey Uso is arrested for DUI in the week or so leading up to Royal Rumble. And if you ever noticed, if you are actually a constant watcher of live WWE, Monday Night Raw, SmackDown, you would see that they always pitch this sweepstakes now to go to Universal Studios, I believe, with Naomi. And it was originally the Usos, because the commercial even had showing that Jay was kind of ruining Naomi and Jimmy's whole time during that sweepstakes commercial. But now it's genuinely just Jimmy and Naomi in the commercials.
It's just them now. They may change it back if nothing came of it. Hopefully they will. Yeah. Depending on how far out the sweepstakes is. I'm hoping. It's a DUI. I'm not saying it's not an offense.
Right.
You still got to hold some type of discipline to that. But I think, is it that egregious to the point where he still can't be a part of the original plan?
Well, my thing is, if he can keep the title, I'm okay with him losing that little sweepstakes.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
Because it would have hurt me more to be they punished him by losing their title. They're still on a real good streak. Their character is probably the best they've ever had in their career in WWE. So if I had to pick between the two, definitely remove him from the sweepstakes. But like you said, you hate for it to be damaging. But of course, WWE is real strict off of the policies of how their superstars, their employees, live their lives. Because really being an employee for WWE, your entire, most of your outside living has to be
affected by what you do on screen. And then we've seen it. I mean, we've seen it with Roman Reigns, where he failed the wellness trial, had the wellness
the wellness thing.
So what ended up with that, they suspended him for was it 30 days or so, leading up into a big triple threat match with Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose for the championship.
Yep. So and recently we had Baron Corbin have the social media dispute with somebody who was I think a veteran, and I don't know, is it retired or active veteran. And from that, he lost his Money in the Bank contract in that match. He kind of went down really fast, but now I guess his character is really built from that situation, and I'm glad to see, because now I like his character more now than I did before that situation happened.
Yeah. So, I mean, with that being said, you got something else for me?
No, we can go right back into the Rumble.
No, you're good, man. You good. The Rumble. So after the AJ Styles, Zayn Owens match, and then the Usos retained their titles versus Benjamin and Gable, they went into the men's Royal Rumble. So which immediately had me thinking, they're going to the women's Royal Rumble is going to main event this show.
Yeah.
That's it. So they're really going all out here with history. So I feel like they put more pressure on themselves by doing that. But I get the logic in it. This is the first ever, so we're going to make this mainstream by making this the main event.
Go ahead. Before we get into it, that just made me think, because I'll save it.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go.
So as we went into the Royal Rumble, the first two entries, I love him when he do that, when he comes out singing for Rusev Day. Aiden English, man. Rusev Day is gaining every week. He's getting more over and over.
He really is.
And Aiden is just adding to it by his ability to be able to.
I am the songbird of song.
And so Rusev was the number one entry to the Royal Rumble. And then number 2 was Finn Balor. And to see those two started off, you want to have two relevant people started off. It makes a lot of sense. Now, coming in at 1 and 2 is very difficult to try to go the distance to win it. But as we find out later on in the Rumble, Balor lasted I think 57 minutes and 43 seconds.
I think so.
Lasted in the Rumble. And a lot of speculation going into this Rumble would be that either Roman Reigns would win it, John Cena had a potential chance to win it, because it was every 5 years John Cena wins the Royal Rumble, 2008, 2013, and they thought that they would repeat it for this year and then have him have a chance at the 17th title reign with getting the shot at Mania. And then just the whole thing with Roman Reigns winning his first Royal Rumble in 2014 in Philadelphia and being right back in the place he won it before. You know how sometimes WWE loves to kind of logic play off of a location. This is where he won his first, or this is where the Shield first came together.
Talked about it a lot.
And they talked about it a lot. So I'm surprised they didn't do that. And then a lot of people felt my pick went on eventually to win it. I wanted Nakamura to win it,
right?
Just for the simple fact of how they've used him this year. Give him something finally meaningful to accomplish since he's been there. All he's done since he's been there is be like a jobber to Jinder Mahal, and then he had a couple feuds with Dolph Ziggler, and that was it. So, but the first 2 entries was Rusev and Balor. They battled it out, and then as it kind of went on, did you have a list of how the entries came in, or?
I don't. Let me see. I'll try to look it up real quick.
But I mean, going into it, like I said, Balor was kind of the lone warrior of it. We saw some quick eliminations come in. I saw it, like you said, Baron Corbin when he came in. He came in at a full head of steam, man. He had some energy coming into that thing, and then soon as he got in there, he was gone. And he got upset, attacked Finn Balor on the outside of the ring.
I like that part about it.
He always does that because he's a sore loser. So you expect that with Baron Corbin. Right. So he attacked Finn Balor. I think he gave an end of days to Rusev on the outside of the ring. And I think when Heath Slater was coming down, he was the next entry. He attacked Heath Slater coming up the ramp. And Heath Slater just didn't really get a good chance to even do anything good, because it seems like soon as another entry would come out and he's really regaining himself from being knocked out from the previous person, they knock him down again. So, but the big thing is, I mean, Corbin got put out early. Do you have something on?
No, I was going with you. Rhino came in right before him.
Yeah, Rhino was in
Corbin did
there.
eliminate him, and like you said, Balor eliminated Baron to go on that little tirade. And then Heath Slater happened to be a victim.
Yeah, he just was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
This is pretty bad. And then right after that, we had who came in at 6? Oh, Elias.
I think they did that purposely, and the reason why. And I also love how he's pitching the WWE means walk with Elias. I love that.
Yeah.
But I will say how Corbin beat up Balor and Rusev on the outside. Elias was the next person after Slater got knocked out, which gave him the time he needed to come out and do his whole little spiel.
Hello, I am Elias.
If I would ask you to save your applauses to the end.
Right.
Because we all know WWE means
walk with Elias.
Yeah, so at that point, he did his whole little guitar spiel. And then do you have, after Elias, what went down after that?
NXT champion Andrade Cien Almas.
That was surprising to me,
that
they would throw the NXT champ in the Royal Rumble.
He
came in with some energy too, because I think Elias tried to throw him over the rope, and he somehow did some kind of crazy thing where he grasped the ropes and had his legs stuck in there. That was pretty cool for me.
Yeah, I love that move, man. I love when he does that. I'm trying to see who comes in after him.
But I'm just shocked the fact that they would put an NXT. I was not shocked that NXT superstars would be in the Rumble. It's just the fact that you put your champion in the Rumble.
You didn't expect to
just
see
the
that.
night before you had the takeover. So,
Then after that, who came? Oh, number 8 came in Bray Wyatt.
I mean, is it with you? Bray Wyatt is just, I'm just numb to him right now. If Bray Wyatt was to go somewhere to obscurity, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't miss Bray Wyatt. Because right now, it's this whole persona with him, I'm over it.
Wow.
How do you feel? How do you feel about Bray Wyatt?
I just don't care.
That's how it is. It's just it's Bray Wyatt. It's and
honestly, it's making me lose interest in the Woken Matt Hardy thing too.
Because it's
you just made 80% of their confrontation is laughing. Yeah, and then Bray just they just go back and forth for 2 minutes every time. In the 3-minute promo they have, 2 minutes is laughing.
There you go. And this is the thing. And then my thing is, what does Matt Hardy have to gain by beating a Bray Wyatt? Bray Wyatt, as you know, I love to say, he had a really, really hard fall from grace. Yeah. This time last year, going into the Elimination Chamber, winning the championship, going into WrestleMania as the champion. And just little than a year later, nothing. Do you think it's because they switched him from SmackDown to Raw?
Yeah, they don't have that much space for him. Yeah, I mean, and I think that's why they pushed him. The only way they could put him is into, I hate to say gimmick matches, but that's kind of what Raw.
He's literally had no direction.
People with those kind of characteristics, who has the odd characteristics, and I feel like they could definitely be using him by now as the new generation's Undertaker. Which I mean that's a stretch. Of
he would
course,
need to win to do that.
Exactly. No, that's what I'm saying. Nobody's pushing him for it, but I feel like, especially how they made the Wyatt family carry out. I don't know if you remember that a while ago when they were feuding with Undertaker and Kane, and there was even one point where they beat him and they carried him out on top of them.
I remember that.
That was the transition. They should have fueled that to make this Bray Wyatt the cultic Undertaker. And have his following, of course, being the Wyatt family. Even though I'm so happy to see Strowman without it.
I love Strowman
by himself is way
and
better.
And I never would have thought that with Strowman. that he could stand on his own the way that he has. But he's the hottest thing right now in the WWE right now.
Because when Strowman came out and they had his special on the Wyatt family being just like that bear hug choke around the shoulders.
He doesn't even do that anymore.
Worst thing ever. I thought it was the worst spin. I was like, they are wasting a big guy. And now Braun Strowman is my favorite person right now.
Yeah. So Bray Wyatt came in at 8.
9, we have Big E.
Big E.
First of the New Day.
Yeah, Big E came in. I think at one point as it went down, all three of them were in there at one time. And I thought they were going to kind of band together, get some strength going, and
I did too.
Potentially last for a little while.
But you know what? They didn't really push teamwork in here. I mean, really, the New Day was probably the only legitimate team that was in the Royal Rumble. Mm-hmm. But I feel like they could have made some more alliances. Like they used to say with the Royal Rumble, you would see people like kind of line themselves up with people just to get people out. I didn't see much of that in this Royal Rumble.
Yeah. Then I mean, as Big E was coming down to the ring, Heath Slater's trying to gather himself, and he just picks up Heath Slater and just stuffs pancakes in his mouth, and he just kind of falls back down again. So I'm just like, and he gets in the ring and starts to try to compete for a chance to go to WrestleMania, which we all knew Big E was not going to be there.
No, not at all.
Not even close.
Then we had Sami Zayn taking Ty Dillinger's spot due to the fact that they attacked him backstage.
And it was funny to me that he came out at 10.
Right.
But then in last year's Royal Rumble, he was 10.
Right. It's because
I get it, the 10, but I'm just like, okay, hey, we did that last year. I saw that. You thought I didn't remember.
He's 10. He's going to be, I feel like next Royal Rumble, he's going to come out at number 10. So 11 is probably definitely the fastest elimination of the night was Sheamus.
I was shocked at that.
Yeah, but I think I was talking to somebody, and they were saying that you have to remember that Sheamus is possibly still dealing with injury. Mm-hmm. So that's why they allowed him to just kind of go in and out.
Who eliminated him?
Heath Slater.
Oh, yeah,
he got there, he threw him into the ring. As soon as he came in, he clotheslined him back out.
Yeah, it was kind of reminded me a little bit of the Santina Morales.
I was thinking that too.
But I think he stayed in it just a tad bit longer.
Just a little bit longer. I think Santino was literally 1 second.
Yeah, as soon as he got in there, Kane clotheslined him back over. Right. And he was just like, I wasn't ready. Like, he was mad.
So we have 12. 12 and 13 was Xavier Woods and Apollo Crews.
Okay, Xavier Woods, so that was second member of the New Day in there. Apollo Crews, Titus Worldwide in there. I mean, I love this guy. He's his athletic ability is out of this world. Right. I just hate the fact that
it's not being used.
He's just there.
Pretty much.
I mean, but he still can go in the ring.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's just the fact of what are we doing with him?
Nothing. Number 14. This is where we have Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yeah, and I think that was a good number for him because it shows like he came in halfway through it. Right. So it's not like he came at the tail end like some of the other ones did and had a chance to last, through to the end. But he did come in at 14. And keep in mind, we still got Finn Balor and Rusev still in it at 1 and 2 at this point as we're all the way up halfway through the Rumble.
Yeah. And
Balor and Rusev, who came in at 1 and 2, were still hanging around.
That's true. Oh. Wait. I don't know. Okay. And what after that? We have Cesaro, Kofi,
then
Jinder. Yeah. But Kofi had that hilarious. I mean, I think that's really much Kofi's sole purpose of the Royal Rumble now, is to find some unique way to not get eliminated for the moment.
He always does that. Like, he does.
Yeah.
And I think it was funny how they did it with the pancakes, how his one foot didn't hit, and he put his foot on the pancake. And as he kept trying to get in, Jinder's like blocking him so he can't get back in the ring. So they kind of like
jumped him over.
Catapult him
that was really dope. That was really dope to see that happen.
Yeah. And then I think he ended up actually, because Jinder had eliminated Xavier. I think Jinder was in the corner and Woods was going toward him really fast, and he just kind of threw him over.
Jinder takes out Xavier and Big E.
And he eliminated 2/3 of the New Day. And I think then Kofi then eliminated Jinder, right?
Yep. To later get eliminated by Andrade Cien Almas. 18, we get Seth Rollins. 19, Woken Matt Hardy.
Did you like Seth Rollins' attire with the fire?
I mean,
I didn't really like it.
You didn't like it?
I didn't. I understand the burn it down gimmick, but
it feels too Kanish to me.
Yeah, to me it's just like, why? No, he looks like a '90s wrestler from WCW Cruiserweight division.
Hey, man. Nostalgia. Nostalgia. So then, like I said, Woken Matt Hardy at 19. 20 is John Cena.
I think it was okay number for him.
But at 21, we have the surprise of the Hurricane returning.
Yeah, when I heard "stay in the back" is a hurricane, I was like, "What?
Get out of here, bro!" Crazy.
But what a lot of people felt was they should have. What I was kind of reading reviews and stuff, they should have allowed the Hurricane and Matt Hardy to kind of go at each other because it's two personas at that point.
Yeah.
And go at it, but
Matt and Wyatt end up eliminating
each other. So at the same time, so they crossed each other out with that.
Then after that, we got Aiden English finally coming in at 22. 23, Adam Cole. 24, Randy Orton.
Yeah, I kind of figured they would say Randy toward the end, which he's earned that respect to get a good number in the Rumble. He shouldn't have to work his way all the way up the ladder.
25, we got Titus O'Neil. 26, The Miz. And at 27, could not have paid me to think that he was coming to
I
the
could
Royal
not.
Rumble.
That shocked me.
Rey Mysterio. Booyaka.
And he had a good little run in there, too.
Oh, yeah.
He ripped the town, man. He went to work when he got in there, too.
I know he's 619. The Miz and Reigns together. Mm-hmm. And someone else. I can't remember.
Was it Randy Orton, I think? No. Yeah. I think it was Randy Orton. He got Randy Orton, too. So, yeah, that was definitely a lot of nostalgia for me. And I still think he holds the record when he won that 2006 Royal Rumble for the longest, I think like 62 minutes and 12 seconds or something like that.
And we have ending it off at 28, Roman Reigns. 29, Goldust, which I
didn't understand how Goldust gets that good of an entry.
I think what happened, genuinely, I feel like it was supposed to be another nostalgia person. They couldn't make it for whatever reason. They just threw Goldust out.
I mean, but still, I mean, of all the people, Goldust.
Who else would they have put in?
They could have
put Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens could have beat him up and came in.
Or you could have put Jason Jordan. He'd be in everything else.
But you saw what happened that night, though.
But I understand. But you had Sheamus and Cesaro in there and Seth Rollins, and they still had to fight a tag match later that night. But I wouldn't have put Jordan at 29, though. But, I mean, I guess it could lead... No, I wouldn't have put him at 29. I don't know who else could have went in Goldust's place. But when I saw him come out at 20... when it gets down toward the end, you're sitting like, okay, who's going to catch us off guard?
Right.
They could have saved... Honestly, if they were going to do that, they could have saved Mysterio for 29.
Yeah. Then we have 30, Dolph Ziggler returning after winning the United States Championship. Then the following Tuesday says that nobody cares about him, so he wants to be remembered, and he decided to be remembered by leaving.
Which, it didn't make no sense at all to me. When I saw him come out at 30, I'm sitting here like, really, WWE?
I thought he was going to win it, because like I said, I've always thought it was going to be SmackDown to win it, because I felt like the WWE, the Raw title will be decided at Elimination Chamber. And I was like, I didn't expect Dolph Ziggler, and I was like,
I thought he was actually going for good.
Yeah, so once he came in, I was like, maybe they're about to give him that push that he wanted, even though I don't see him fighting AJ Styles. Even though I would see it being a good match, because I do believe that Dolph Ziggler is a really good wrestler.
He is.
But that's not what people are wanting right now. So.
And when he came, I was like, so what was the whole point of him being, like, winning the championship, relinquishing the title, and then not being on TV for almost a month or so, and then just pops up in the Royal Rumble? Didn't make any sense at all to me whatsoever, unless he had some kind of personal issue going on outside of, the WWE, that he just needed mandatory time off.
Or, once again, just like Goldust, could have been another nostalgia pop that didn't show up. I feel like
the filler.
Because those last two, like you said, didn't make sense for Goldust and Dolph Ziggler to come in. So, like, I just feel like...
But I'm trying to search through both rosters who could have replaced both of those people.
Nobody in the roster.
I mean...
Could have put the Bludgeon Brothers in, possibly.
You
We would have had to put more SmackDown kids in.
I'm trying to think of who's all over there.
You could have put anybody off of 205.
I'm gonna give the Fandango them something to do.
Yeah, Fandango.
Or this Ascension.
That would have been a perfect time to pull up Aleister Black.
Yeah, you could have put Aleister Black in there. You could have, or some of those tag teams down there in NXT.
Right. And they just wasted 2 entries. Either way, the result was satisfying.
Gable or Benjamin or somebody. I would have been okay with them being in it.
Yeah.
However it goes, but I was shocked at Goldust and them. So those were your 30. Some other notable things that stood out to me in the Rumble was how the Mr. Ross still tried to interfere in the Rumble match. You know what I'm saying? Like, how y'all trying to interfere in the Rumble match? I like how Seth and Roman banded together, and then as soon as they did like a shield bomb outside the ring, Roman just took Seth and just chucked Seth outside of the ring too, and I'm looking like...
I'm disappointed.
I wasn't mad, but I was just like, maybe Roman was like, I'm going to get you before you get me.
I think
type
so.
Mentality.
Because
he smirked at him and looked at him like, hey, it's just business, nothing personal.
I didn't want... See,
it's like in Uno, when you first, on one side of the table, you hitting this person up with draw twos. And then somehow the game changes around where you got to skip this person and get to the other side to get out faster. It's like, it's just business. It's like, we're still cool.
Like Uno, it's just business.
It's just business. Like, I got to skip you. I gotta hit you with this skip. I got to hit you with this draw two right quick. And we still going to be good after this.
Save myself.
I'm just saying, he just threw Seth over. Or unless that was a play on maybe a little bit of revenge tactic, because I really feel like
I'm just scared.
When it came down to it, Seth. I mean, I still think Seth has changed in a lot of ways, but opportunity to get to WrestleMania,
I just feel
you gotta
like
do what you gotta do.
It's ominous of the Shield starting to die out, and I don't want that.
And like I told you earlier before we even started, like it's almost like it's not meant to be. Because as soon as it came together, what happened? Roman gets sick.
Dean
it comes back together again. Dean gets hurt.
But see, once Dean comes
so this
back
return
now,
has just been a flop.
No, because this is what's going to happen. I'm going to tell you now. I'm going to go ahead and ban this strategy for you right now.
Oh.
Jason, they hurt Jason later on tonight, which we'll talk about, is because now Seth is kind of on his own trying to figure out what he's going to do. Dean's going to return. Boom. Dean and Seth are either going to win their titles back at Elimination Chamber, or they're going to win their title or defend their title at WrestleMania before they have the whole disperse, whatever. But I hope they don't. And then, see, that will lead to them banding with Roman, and Roman leading the charge up to WrestleMania so he can win his title. And we have the Champions Club, as it should be. Roman, Seth, Dean, all titles. Don't tell me this puts you in a bad mood, sir.
Yeah, it puts me in a bad mood, man. I'm kind of over it now. I was kind of, I wasn't really truly excited for it when we heard.
But look at all the factions. Look at all the 3-people factions we have right now.
3-people factions. We do.
We have
we have the club, and I proposed that the club. I'd say Gallows and Anderson versus Seth and Dean.
But see now,
then once we get past Brock and everything,
now
and Roman beats Brock, and let Balor and Reigns go after the Universal title.
Exactly. Now we can do that. Now we have, like you said, Balor and Reigns, and then if anybody interferes, we got Seth, Dean, Gallows, Anderson.
But you know what too, and then what just hit me too. I know this is going back, but you also know Samoa Joe was hurt. I feel like if just Samoa Joe wasn't hurt, he would have been in the Rumble too.
That's true.
So that's probably why they felt like, we got to put somebody here.
Yeah.
I forgot all about Samoa Joe. So and then Dean probably would have been in there too.
Definitely.
If he wasn't hurt too.
They definitely would have.
That's probably your 2 people right there that was meant to be in it.
Right.
And they had to just throw Goldust and
Dolph Ziggler
in there. But yeah, I just thought it was ironic how Reigns threw him out. And then it kind of got down toward the end. Balor still hanging in there as the number 2 entry. Rusev got eliminated. Cena came in and did a couple of eliminations. I'm not sure exactly. He eliminated a couple people. Roman did. Nakamura looked really strong. Just was hanging in there. Then as it kind of thinned out, Rey Mysterio had a flashback from 12, 13 years ago where he just went ham on everybody with this 619. And then I think, who eliminated Rey? I think it was Cena, wasn't it?
Nope, Balor.
Finn Balor eliminates Rey Mysterio.
Because remember, it was a standoff between the new generation and the old. So it was Finn Balor, Roman Reigns, and
Cena and Nakamura.
But
I still don't think.
And that was Cena.
I still don't think
Rey
Roman
Mysterio.
Reigns is a part of new versus old.
Who? You don't think who's a part of the new?
I don't think Roman Reigns ain't really been there that long either.
That's why he was new.
But I'm saying it was. If anything, all of them are new versus Cena.
But I'm saying no. This was the new versus old. It was Roman Reigns, Nakamura, and Balor versus Cena, Randy Orton, and Rey Mysterio. You remember when they stood off 3-3?
Yeah, you're right.
That was the new.
I
versus
thought you
old.
meant like when it got down to the last four.
Oh no.
I get what you're saying now.
Yeah,
I remember that. And so the final four in it was Finn Balor, Nakamura, John Cena, and Roman Reigns.
It was. Finn Balor, Nakamura. Yeah, because it was all three versus John.
And then I think it battled down, and Cena eliminated Finn Balor, who was in there for like 57 minutes and some change. Then it was those three. And then somehow I think Nakamura eliminated Cena.
Yeah.
I thought it would have been more logical if Reigns eliminates Cena. I know you want to build Nakamura up, but I just given the little recent history that Roman and Cena had, just to try to get him to throw him over. Because I think whether you believe it or not, they're going to go back to that.
What, Cena and Reigns?
And it's going to be for a title. It's coming. You can believe it. It is coming. It's coming next year. Well, this year, 2018.
Cena Reigns
is going to fight for a belt. Either going to be the Universal title. I don't know if Cena wins 17 against him.
He's not going to win 17 against Roman.
But they're going to be in a title match. He might not win it, but they're going to bring that back up. Because I feel like Cena's going to be like, hey, I still owe you.
Okay.
Because it was kind of like remember how the AJ Styles thing went? AJ Styles kept getting the best of Cena.
Yeah. And
then when he came back, he was like, hey, you got something that belongs to me.
True.
And the only reason you're the champion is because...
And AA this man like 5 times.
Yep. To win it. But I think they're going to revisit that. But Nakamura eliminates Cena, and then it's down to Reigns.
Mm-hmm. Reigns and Nakamura.
I did not think that it would be those two, the last two in there.
Why not?
It makes sense, but I just didn't think it would be those two. I don't know why my mind never went to that type of logic, but it didn't.
Once Cena was eliminated, it made sense because I was like, genuinely, the last 3 people, like you said, it was Cena, Reigns, and Nakamura. I knew those 3 were the main picks throughout the week of who they want to win. Mm-hmm. So it was like, it made sense. Once they got Cena eliminated, I was like, okay.
And I'm just praying.
It's Nakamura.
I'm saying, Lord,
I knew it was going to be Nakamura.
Don't let Roman Reigns win this thing.
I wanted Roman Reigns to win.
Because these people are going to go crazy. Philadelphia.
They would have hated it.
Yeah.
They would have hated it.
But every year they tease us, because last year they teased us with Reigns.
Yep.
With Randy Orton got him, though.
Yep.
But...
And I think they use Roman. I think they realize that, and they use Roman for that purpose. That they know that there's still a big majority of people who don't like Reigns. So that even makes a bigger pop for the winner to eliminate Reigns, because most people just don't want Reigns to win it. So
yep. And I think Nakamura got him. They battled. He knocked him over with a knee. Mm-hmm. And Shinsuke, in his first ever Royal Rumble match of his career, wins the 2018 Royal Rumble. Oh no, that's not a bad move.
No, that's a good move. That's a good move. This the bad move.
Oh, I thought I was bad move. That's
the good move.
I want to give him some applause. That's what I wanted to do. There we go. Finally, Shinsuke gets something. He finally gets something.
Very true.
I mean, he came to SmackDown last April.
Yeah.
And I honestly believe that he's had opportunities to do things, but I mean, they couldn't put him over Jinder Mahal.
Just because.
But what makes sense to me is if he goes to Mania, because obviously right after the match he announces he wants to fight AJ Styles, because you have to get to, go against the champion of your choosing. But just a sense of logic for me. If he goes to Mania and beats AJ Styles beat Jinder Mahal, but Nakamura couldn't beat Jinder Mahal. I know the Singh brothers had a lot to do with that, but just for a logic standpoint, how does that make sense? You could beat AJ Styles, but you can't beat Jinder Mahal. But obviously AJ Styles doesn't need help to constantly win.
Listen, you're trying.
I'm very excited for this. I am. I want you to know I'm ecstatic for this match.
I know that, but you're putting logic into a time frame that had no logic. No logic mattered during that time frame that Jenner was champion because they were solely worried about the India push.
Understood.
That's it. There's that time frame from whatever time period in what May or something towards November. No logic mattered.
It didn't. Everything was gender. We're
Right.
going to keep the belt on him by all means necessary.
All means necessary.
Even if we have to bury Nakamura,
Yep.
the very person that we went out of our way to get.
Yep.
Triple H went out of his way to get Nakamura.
Yep.
And I got to give Nakamura. He took it. I'm pretty sure he wasn't happy about it.
I'm sure.
But having to fight the likes of Baron Corbin and Dolph Ziggler, people like that, and then constantly losing to Jinder Mahal and the modern day Phil Haraja and
Yesterday's Maharaja.
Yeah. So, but we're not going to live in the past. We're in the now, and right now Nakamura is going to WrestleMania. Can you imagine that entrance at WrestleMania?
Oh,
that is going to be.
They're going to have a whole symphony up there.
Oh my goodness, it's going to be epic.
It's going to have to.
They need to have violin players all the way down that whole ramp, and
it's the longest
ramp you ever want to walk down. Like last year when Undertaker walked out there, I was like, man, I can go warm me up some food, eat right quick, fix my drink, and by the time I come back, he still ain't gonna be in the ring.
Go to the bathroom while your food heating up.
But I'm just excited for Shinsuke.
Yeah.
So he wins it, picks AJ Styles to face. And then what happened after that?
Then after that, we had our tag match. The Raw's Tag Team Championship, Jason and Seth Rollins versus Sheamus and Cesaro, The Bar. And basically, to me personally, it wasn't a great match, but most of it that kept it interesting was due to the fact that outside the ring, Cesaro pushed Jason Jordan into the steel post, and apparently it was so hard that it looked like he had a concussion. Throughout the match, he was never kind of there to aid Seth Rollins. The one time he was able to, soon as he got tagged inside the ring, he started kind of stammering around, holding his head like he was still in the daze, and he just tagged Seth and crawled back out the ring. Left Seth by himself, and pretty much Seth fought his own. Like it was kind of nice to see the pops where he was just kind of fighting them off. But I mean, two heavyweights like Sheamus and Cesaro got advantage, and they took the win and took the titles from him.
Yep.
I feel like this was a plug because maybe Jason Jordan's hurt. Like,
it could be.
Like he was genuinely hurt. He really couldn't wrestle, so they was like, because nobody in the history of me watching wrestling has taken a headshot to the turnbuckle and can no longer compete. Like throughout the match. Now maybe they got hit and maybe they had to get stretchered out, but to just linger around the ring until the end of it felt like that he had some other kind of injury that he had to appear for, but it was too much for him to actually perform. Mm-hmm. So they had to pitch that for him to just be there.
Gotcha. So Cesaro, and Sheamus.
The Bar.
The Bar.
We don't just set the bar.
We are the Bar.
There you go. They are new.
They're the tag champs again. They've won it at least 3 or 4 times now.
I want to say so.
Yeah, they've won it a good bit this year. They've lose it a lot, but they also win it back a lot too. Yep. So I'm just anxious to see who they'll feud with next, because I got an idea now since Jordan and Seth, they may get a rematch. Obviously, they may. And they still might lose that again.
I think Dean's going to be back pretty soon.
Dean is probably coming back, and that's probably going to change up some stuff.
Honestly, like I said, what I imagine is going to happen, if they're still going to be in contention, Dean's going to come back, and it's going to set up.
But I still honestly think you got to put
chamber.
At least the caliber of a wrestler like Seth. Even if you don't push him toward the main title picture, you got to, just for the sake of the Mania season and Chamber coming up for Raw, you got to put him in that. Just for the sake of it. Just to have because you got to have 6 competitors, right?
Nah.
We'll get on that later. Okay. But I'm just saying, I don't really know who else they have to pluck to do that. That's relevant enough to be in a match that would draw
I'm not going to go off of relevancy. I'm going to go off of who I believe they're just going to put in there. Okay. And I already got 2 of them in my mind right now.
Okay. Well, you save them until we get on Raw. Okay. You hold that bullet in the chamber. Okay.
All right.
But then as we went through that, then I think
the Universal Championship.
The Universal Championship match. Brock Lesnar so basically Paul Heyman has, quoted this match as the monster versus the machine versus the beast. So this triple threat match. This reminded me so much of SummerSlam in a way. Kind of, sort of. Braun was kind of Super Saiyan at SummerSlam with the announce tables, and Brock had to lead the match and all that. But it was kind of similar to it. Braun was very strong. Very strong in this match, which he is in pretty much all of his matches. Even when he loses. And it's always like a technicality he loses by, or he doesn't get pinned, which me and you both felt Kane would take the pin, because you still have to find a way to make Braun look strong in all of this. Which he did look strong.
Even at the end, because he stood up in the ring. It was like, you didn't beat me, yelling that at Brock Lesnar as he made it out.
So. I mean, which we knew Brock would retain. Obviously, we know what the plot is going to Mania. It's going to be Vince. Vince wants the rematch between Roman and Brock.
Yeah.
So, obviously, they weren't going to shift guards on that. I think right now, like I told you months ago, they should have just, at No Mercy,
gave it to
Braun. Let Braun ride it to the Rumble.
Yeah.
Right by now, he should at least had at least one reign with the title.
Yeah.
And then him and Brock could have fought it out again. Let Brock stay off TV for a couple months. I mean, that's right up his alley anyway.
Exactly.
So let him stay off TV for a couple months. Have Brock come back at the Rumble, win it back, and then you can still have your reigns. And
because you could have put Reign and Braun at the Elimination Chamber to see who's going to go for it.
Or have them all still do this regular Elimination Chamber 6, and then let's say Reign somehow epically survives,
which he's going to do,
and wins it, and then we have our Lesnar versus Strowman. Versus Lesnar versus Reigns. But I just honestly feel like Braun Strowman is so over right now, and I really believe by the end of this year he will be the champion.
Yeah.
They're going to give him to him.
They'll let him beat Roman.
They'll let him beat Roman for it. And they'll battle over it a couple times.
Yeah.
But I just feel like the traction that he has and how successful he's been on his own, I did not see that coming. And to have this type, we build him up to be so strong and invincible. Why isn't he your champion? That's a person that I could see with the title. Because like when we get to Mania, Lesnar would have held the title for an entire year. Now, give or take, he's beat some quality opponents. He has. He's beaten Samoa Joe. He's beaten Roman Reigns, Samoa Joe, and Braun Strowman all in a fatal 4-way match. He's beaten Strowman by himself. He's beaten AJ Styles. He's beaten Kane and Strowman. He's beaten the best of that Raw has to offer. He has. But I really believe, like, part of that title reign after WrestleMania, he was gone for a couple of months. Yeah. And my thing is, I feel that Strowman, that's more believable for him to be a champion for a year straight in doing what he's doing.
Yep.
Than Brock being a champion for a year, like you said, they're making him look more human, but still, to be the champion for that long, you would think your human characteristics would come into play and you would slip up and lose one time. But I feel like if Braun get that title and he holds it for a year, I wouldn't have a problem with that.
No, not at all. Not at all. I would truly be satisfied with him having the title for a year.
And I feel like if he does get it, he should get a long reign with it.
And then what an even plug better for whoever is going to take it from Braun is for them to like have the matches where they're fighting again and again and show that whoever they finally pick for it to take the title is slowly starting to understand Braun. Like it's kind of like, oh, I'm getting to him now. Like I'm starting to get the strategy, and finally he overcomes the odds and takes it from him.
Yep. So Brock Lesnar retains.
Yep.
Didn't look that convincing.
Nope.
He survived it. You know, obviously I started to say AA. FU to Kane.
F5.
F5. Sorry. It used to be FU, right?
No, that was John
Cena. I don't know why I want to combine their
that.
moves. I guess because both of them kind of do the little same thing. And
I want
but Lesnar goes with the spin, but Cena just goes over the top.
Now I think about it, I wonder what was John Cena's finisher before that, because they made John Cena's on the FU in response to Brock Lesnar's F5. So now I don't know what was it before.
I don't remember what it was. But Lesnar's always been the F5. But I don't know why I mixed them up just now. But he wins with the F5, retains the Universal title. Obviously, he's going to be headed into Mania as the champion because the Elimination Chamber is the last pay-per-view before Mania. So then we get down to the historic moment of the night. The women's first ever in history all women's 30-woman Royal Rumble.
I honestly didn't know if they were going to find 30 women.
And that's what my thing was, and I honestly felt. But you know,
without digging far into NXT, because I feel like with NXT they could have filled it up to be 30.
But I think they wanted to have some flair to it, and all the people we saw on Raw 25, the comeback people, except for Lita, that was a shock for me. Because Lita wasn't at Raw 25, which I felt she should have been. Maybe they saved her for that moment. But it was kind of like we saw all the people we saw come out. Jacqueline.
Yeah, I was shocked about Jacqueline. Jacqueline shocked me.
Jacqueline, we saw Michelle McCool. And Molly Holly caught me off guard too.
Yeah.
And she had a little aerial attack she had on Sasha Banks. I was like, Molly? Okay. But who else was in there? Michelle McCool. You had
Nikki Guerrero.
Kelly. Excuse me! I said excuse me!
They really just brought her in for a gimmick, like just so they can let her do that, and then she get thrown out by everybody.
Yeah. What else? Sasha Banks was kind of the Finn Balor of this Royal Rumble. She kind of lasted toward the end. She was the first
Iron Woman.
Yeah, the Iron Woman of this lasted toward the end. It was okay for me. I wish Paige wasn't hurt, because I think if Paige wasn't hurt, we would have saw an Absolution and Riot Squad showdown.
Yeah,
I would have loved to seen all three of them kind of face off. Like do a stare down and face off, like we're the better faction, but obviously Paige is hurt. So, but it was looking like they were working together at some points.
Yeah.
Some members were. Liv Morgan was working with what's the girl with the UFC type of?
Shayna Baszler. No, not Shayna Baszler.
Sonya Deville.
Sonya Deville.
Yeah, and they were working together. And Lana came in. They were double teaming her. Tamina, I didn't like they eliminated Tamina way early for me.
Yeah,
they should have kept her around. I would like to see her and Nia go back at it again to
like
kind of
Survivor Series. They didn't show Survivor Series Tamina tonight.
Yeah, Tamina went out really quick.
I didn't like that.
She came out with an all white too. Usually she's decked out in black, so it was a change in attire for her. What else did I see with this Women's Royal Rumble? Bailey got a good card coming in at 29.
Yeah.
I was shocked that she came in that late. I thought they would have put her as one of the earlier entries.
Right.
I'm just trying to think back to it. So a lot of the Hall of Famers looked good. We saw some blast from the past action. Lita had a good spot where she did some Twist of Fates. Michelle McCool had a good performance in there. Even when Trish Stratus came in there, they said her at number 30. She got some Stratisfaction going, where she did like the double Stratisfaction. I think it was Bailey and Sasha. She did it too. It was good to see the Bella Twins back too.
Yeah,
to see them come back. Just to see them, because they've been off TV for so long. To be back in action again was good to see them back in it. They worked together for most of the time that they were in there.
Yeah.
And then Asuka came in, and she was just who we thought she would be. I knew they would all double team together to get Nia Jax out too. They had to.
Yeah, of course.
Because nobody ain't throwing that girl over the top rope.
Not by themselves.
By themselves. And she kept going through the bottom 2 ropes, but they all had to band together to flip her out. And it just kind of came down to the end. I think the final 4 was Asuka, Sasha Banks, and the 2 Bella twins.
Yep.
And then it looks like Asuka wanted to work with Sasha to take out the Bella twins. They had formed an alliance there, and then Sasha attacks Asuka, and then the Bella twins and Sasha begin to like triple team Asuka because I guess they feel like she's supposed to be this person. Let's get her out.
Right.
And then they got her in the corner. And then Sasha's trying to go up to elevate herself to. I'm not sure what she was trying to do. But she elevated herself, and the Bella twins just kind of took her and pushed her out.
Yeah,
as she was trying to do like something from the top.
I forgot what that move is. I know what the move is. I can't think of it.
Yeah, and they took advantage of that and threw her out. And then
Nikki Bella takes out Brie.
Yeah, she took her sister out. They were kind of beating up Asuka a good little bit.
Yeah, they had a shield moment.
Mm-hmm.
Like Nikki kind of looked back like, I gotta win. Like I want to win this. So.
Yep. And then it became down to Bella and Asuka. And
we found out that nobody is ready for
Asuka. There you go. Nobody's ready for Asuka.
Asuka!
And the Empress of Tomorrow is the Royal Rumble winner of the first ever Women's Royal Rumble. So did you notice 2 Japanese-born Royal Rumble winners? Has that ever happened in WWE history, let alone in the same night?
Right. No, it has not. And so I think I saw somebody made a comment on it on Instagram, and it was like, for once, WWE got it right.
They did. They did.
Even though, to me, I feel like all the other matches were subpar. Most of the other matches. Because I can say I was excited a little bit for the Triple Threat Universal Championship.
I wasn't.
I was more excited for that than anything else. Like I said,
Kane just didn't fit there for me. It should have just been a one-on-one again.
Yeah, but like I said, I knew why Kane was there, so that's why it didn't bother me. The tag match between the Usos started off really good, and it just, like you said, it ended too short.
It's like somebody said from the back, "Hey, we run out of time. This is going over.
Like y'all better remember, it's 2 Rumbles. We ain't gonna do this whole marathon match with y'all no more. Y'all gonna cut this."
And then, obviously, we've got to mention the 2 champions are at ringside as this whole Royal Rumble was going on. Stephanie McMahon was a guest commentary.
Who was horrible.
Yeah, she just does not have. I mean, to be in her position, how do you not know about these people? Like, it's like Michael Cole's asking her questions, and she just like, "So what do you think, Stephanie, about blah blah blah?"
I mean, look at her,
and she just sits there, and then she's like, "Yeah."
Like clearly,
that was good right there by so and so.
Doing that. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, she's doing great. I mean, just look at her. Clearly.
But yeah, she didn't really do good at the commentating. But we got Charlotte and Alexa Bliss. After Asuka wins the Rumble, they get in the ring. I guess they feel like Asuka's going to make her decision of, okay, who do you want? You want me or her? And Asuka's standing in the middle of it all, and
all of a sudden,
the surprise that we all have been hearing about, speculating about, Miss Ronda Rousey makes her appearance in the WWE for the first time since she made an appearance at WrestleMania 31. We all remember what happened then. She was in the crowd as a spectator, called out of the audience by The Rock to confront Triple H and Stephanie, and they kind of got into a little altercation.
She flips Triple H and
kind of locks up Stephanie.
Right.
And then now she's back, signed with the WWE. Comes down to the ring, kind of decked out in Roddy Piper gear.
Yep.
Which I gotta, she's always said that the Piper influence, he was my inspiration for everything I did in MMA. So that must be a person that she reveres.
Yeah, they said that jacket was given to her
by him. That was his actual jacket.
Right, his son gave it.
I
to
know
her.
it looked kind of big on her when she came. I was like, why she got that big? I understand having the leather, but it looked
it was big on her.
Real big on her. But she came down, kind of had the rowdy on the
Ronda
shirt.
Rousey.
She comes down. Everybody's in awe, looking. She glances around. She just has like this little, not cynical smile, but like it looks like this little girly, like innocent, but I'm here.
Like that crazy little adorable girl or whatever.
But I'll snap in 2 seconds if I have to. And then she
just points,
gets in the ring, points at WrestleMania sign. Everybody's looking at her like, what are you saying? She's pointing at it again. And then she looks at Charlotte. She looks at Alexa Bliss. But then goes, and I wish you all could see Moody right now. He's just like in a Ronda Rousey pointing pose at the rest. There's no WrestleMania sign in here with her, so I don't know what he's pointing at. But
she just held it so long.
She did though. I was like, okay, are you going to talk? What are you going to do?
It wasn't her promo. She was not promo ready yet.
So then she goes to, I guess she looks at Charlotte, looks at Alexa as if, whatever. But she respects Asuka because she reaches her hand out to shake her hand. And it looks like Asuka's going to. And knowing, I love Asuka. I love how Asuka's not a face. Asuka's not a heel. Asuka's in her own category. Is. And Asuka just looks and she's just like, slaps the hand away. And then Ronda's like, okay. She has a look on her face like, cool.
Yeah.
You want to be like that? All right. We'll see each other down the road.
See you.
But then she kind of points at the Mania sign again before she leaves and kind of leaves out of the ring. And that was that. Kind of caught the WWE Universe off guard. Ronda Rousey's in the WWE. I don't know what the plans are for her. It's rumored that potentially Triple H and Stephanie are supposed to get back together and potentially go off against her and The Rock. I've heard that. I don't think that's going to happen.
I heard that, but they got to find out about Rock's busy schedule.
I like the way they try to play off that to continue that. I think that would be good.
Yeah.
But we'll see how it goes. I don't know how they're going to use Rousey going. Because obviously we know one of the women's championships is going to be free to have a fill-in match.
And so,
depending on who Asuka chooses.
This is what I see happen. I feel like Asuka's going for the Raw Championship. I don't feel like it'll be Alexa yet.
Okay.
Because I don't feel like they're going to push Ronda against Asuka yet. Because she just came in. But I feel like with that being said, Ronda's going to go for Charlotte's title.
So you think Ronda's going to be on SmackDown?
Yeah.
Or do you think they'll do like a free agent type thing that they do with Cena?
They might. If they go that route, they're going to lock it in after. Like, they're going to lock it in right before WrestleMania. Right before or afterwards. I mean, if she wins it at WrestleMania, of course she has to lock it in for SmackDown. But
I think WWE should make that a permanent thing.
What?
When they do their draft or their shake-up, have one superstar that can be a free agent. Just
I've always felt
one woman superstar, one.
Well, I've always felt like the top title should be able to do that. Like if you're the Universal or WWE, and like you said, the Raw Women's or SmackDown Women's, you should be able to, have.
I get it. Why name it Raw title or SmackDown Live Women's title?
They should change it to Universal Women's and Universal like WWE Women's.
You got to be respected to your brand, but I just feel like you pick a person that can roll.
Respected brands. We have. So with that being said, so that means no women can do it. So that means United States and Intercontinental has free reign then? Or is it just going to be Universal and WWE?
You draft the champion there on your show. But I just feel like you just pick a free agent. It can't just, I
don't like the free agent
thing. I can just show it wherever I want.
I don't like not just I want to
wrestle on SmackDown this week. Nah, I'm going to go to Raw next time.
Like, it'll make more sense to me if it was a champion, but just say, oh, we got one free agent. I don't really like that.
You don't like that? It's just an idea.
Yeah.
But they may try to do that with Rousey. Like I said, I don't know where they're going to go with this with her, but she concluded the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
If you were to rate it, what would it be?
I was thinking about this earlier today. This is gonna be my first time doing something like this. I'm rating it a 5.8 out of 10.
I was say I'm threatening. If you give this higher than a 7, I'm unplugging my headset and you're gonna do the rest of the podcast by yourself.
5.7 out of 10. Because, like I said, the matches in between,
they weren't good in betweeners.
I didn't like them.
I didn't either. Rumble match. I was surprised the Rumble matches made the show.
The Rumble matches were good,
and that's what it was for. It's for the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
But you still thought you would have good matches in between.
Now, one thing I was disappointed about with the men's, I wanted more surprises, like surprise nostalgia people. All we really got was the Hurricane and Rey Mysterio. Genuinely, really, the Rey Mysterio, we got a good nostalgia with Hurricane, but as far as legitimate competitors, we got Rey Mysterio. Feel like we should have had more with that side.
And it could be a thing where they're trying to give some of their talent airtime. Because a lot of those guys don't really get a lot of... I know, Rhino and Slater. Rhino and Slater wouldn't have been it for me. I would have put... I wouldn't even put Apollo and... Titus in there either.
I would have only put Apollo if they was going to let Apollo look strong.
Cool.
Like,
I agree.
Yeah. Like you said, like they didn't. Like Apollo just jumped around for a little.
Why the Revival could have been in it?
Yeah,
you could have put them in. I guess they were buried from DX.
I would have rather New Day not be in it, honestly, because New Day. I mean, really, the only person that eliminated anybody from New Day was Kofi, and that was just eliminating Jinder.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, like I said, I don't know. Just trying to do deep scrubs of both rosters, man. I don't know who else could have been. Bobby Roode wasn't in it. He was a champion. He didn't have anything to do with the Royal Rumble because they rushed the championship match.
Right.
So he pretty much had a pay-per-view where he was...
I forgot about his match.
Yeah,
his match was decent. It wasn't...
He didn't have a match.
He didn't have a match?
No.
Oh, I thought he had a...
They didn't defend the United States title at the Rumble.
That was...
Because they did it on SmackDown. They were supposed to go to the Rumble, but it didn't. You could have threw him in the Rumble just to see. Just to get a pop from the crowd. Oh, glorious.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But he wasn't gonna win.
But see, we didn't. That's what I'm saying. We didn't have to kind of stretch out the roster. We could have found some more people, like Dave Bautista. Like he was somebody that was argued for a possible return. I would have loved to see Dave Bautista come back. He's even made some mentions towards interviewers saying that he would like to come back for one. But his only stipulation is he only wants to come back if he can do like a storyline against Triple H.
And then the thing was too, like some of the Hall of Famers, you could have pulled some of the people like the Dudleys. You could have threw the Dudleys in there.
I wouldn't have thrown Goldberg in because I know Goldberg's time is limited. But I would have loved to see him come in and spear somebody. But then
he did good last year.
But considering how good he is, who would be able to take him out if it wasn't Brock? Like Brock Lesnar was the only person that could be able to take him out. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it wouldn't have been.
I don't really know who else you could have pulled, like legends wise, to put him in there. I'm just thinking. Other than Rey Mysterio,
Shawn Michaels,
Shawn's retired. Remember?
Yeah, Shawn said
he can't wrestle again because remember he lost to Undertaker. And that ended his career, so he can't come back in a wrestling capacity. He can come back and make an appearance. He can talk. He can be a guest referee for something, but he can't actually physically suit up and wrestle.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I don't know who they could have pulled, but I agree with you. They should have had more blasts from the past.
That's all. But like I said, that's still not saying much. It was still a pretty good men's one.
It was.
The women's one is what made it.
Yeah, the women's was actually pretty good, and I'm glad they had a chance to main event it and all of that. I'm glad they let the right people win the Rumble. Yeah. But if I were to rate the Rumble,
what's yours?
My rating, 6.5 out of 10.
Okay, look at you having the higher one.
I only because of the Rousey factor.
Yeah, see, I didn't
Nakamura. I didn't know she was going to be there.
Because for me, I would have rather Ronda fought. But then again, like I said,
just her, just being there and seeing her, people were like, "Holy,
yeah,
holy!" Did. So she being there, the right people winning the Rumbles, the Nakamura's, the Asukas. I actually like the Final Four of both Rumbles. I like the fact you had Balor kind of go the distance. You had Sasha go the distance. You had the newcomers, come out on top. You had some of your vets in there with like Cena, and Reigns, who've been in plenty Rumble matches before and done some good things.
Also, we didn't talk about this, but thinking about like people who came into the Rumble, I was excited to see Ember Moon.
Yeah, I meant to hit that because then it kind of reminiscent of her and Asuka. They had an excellent rivalry.
See, I've never, like I said, once again, I'm still not in with NXT. Mm-hmm. The only thing I haven't even finished watching the War Games, and like
they had a great rivalry. She came in hurt. I assume I didn't get to see Takeover. She had a great.
I heard
like her arm was messed up.
I heard Takeover's pay-per-view is better than Royal Rumble.
Most of the time, NXT's pay-per-views are. I mean, they just are. I have to honestly say it, but. And then her and Asuka kind of had like a reminiscent thing going on right there.
Yeah.
And then she actually got her eclipse on her own Asuka. Yeah. And I love that move. And Asuka sells it so well. But then Asuka was looking at her arm. You saw how Asuka was like...
Yeah, she was like, oh, your arm's hurting, isn't it? Like,
So, yeah, that was good to see her in there. But I mean, now, like you said, I'm in agreement with you. The in-between matches, the tag matches, didn't care for them. Didn't care for the Universal title match. Didn't care for AJ's match versus Zayn and Owens. The other filler matches weren't good. And they were actually really good performers in those matches. They just did. I don't know if they didn't have enough time to go the distance.
I think it was just time.
It was a time thing.
It was, like you said, it was a Royal Rumble that was based on the Royal Rumble. So they didn't really put too much creative intuition into the matches in between. Or intuitive, I don't know the word. But yeah,
that's what it was. So that's how the Rumble shook out, and then we're just gonna go ahead and keep on tugging along to Monday Night Raw.
Yeah. Monday Night Raw,
off the heels of Raw 25.
Yeah,
which was okay for me. It had its moments. It could have been better.
Yeah, bro. It was.
How do you have Raw 25 without Dwayne The Rock Johnson?
That's one true thing. Yeah.
How? But anyhow,
The Rock's too busy for WWE right now.
He couldn't put Raw 25 and you circle your date. Right. That only happens once.
The Rock don't care.
You have to be there for that.
That's another thing that I saw a comment made that Lita wasn't even invited.
But then how she come up to the Royal Rumble but couldn't come to Raw 25?
Your guess is as good as mine, my friend.
She had one of them.
So, alright. Monday Night Raw started with Stephanie McMahon trying to get Asuka to pick who she wants. But then Sasha Banks comes out. I guess she's a little, I don't know, bitter. Salty or something. She's like, well, I'm ready for you tonight. You know, you talking about all this big talk, so that's what I want.
I love how you narrate how they talk. You don't say it exactly how they said it, but you just kind of make it. You talking all this big talk like I'm here now. What you trying to do tonight?
Right. That's how she did it. That's how I saw it in my mind. And like, I don't know what kind of translation I
love your translation though, because they're funny to me. It's like you talking all that big talk.
Yeah. Like, just with that being said, that reminds me, I love Braun Strowman's new "Get These Hands" little slogan. But so that match is made. Afterwards, we got Braun and Strowman starting off this Elimination Chamber qualifying matches with the Last Man Standing match, and it was a pretty fast match. This was something that, with the title Last Man Standing, you would feel like this would be something that was kind of drawn out. Even so, a main eventer. But it was.
I thought they could have let it filter to the backstage area too.
Yeah, they could have even did that.
They don't really do that as often as they used to do, like an Attitude
They don't
Era.
do like a lot of backstage brawls and stuff. But yeah, fast match. It got heated pretty fast. Even when Braun first got there, he pulled out tables and stuff.
He was ready,
right?
Like, okay, you said Last Man Standing.
I'm gonna do all this. So they quickly fought around the ring outside. Led up to the announcer stage, which of course on Raw is at the top of the ramp instead of being usually by the ring. And Braun doesn't just put an announcer table on top of him. He takes that whole announcer's platform and flips it on top of Kane to get the win.
They do such a good job.
The ref did not even count. The ref was just like,
he ain't getting up.
That's it.
Like there's no way Kane gets up.
And then Corey Graves finally gets a mic and comes. He was like, "What did you do?" Like, and Ryan was like, "I did what I was supposed to do." Like,
yeah.
He was like, "It said last man standing," so.
And I'm going to tell you, man. And now we did find out, too, since we're speaking of announcers, Jonathan Coachman is now back with the WWE. So I'm glad
King
the coach
Booker
is back. Get Book off. I love Book, but he just didn't fit well with him.
He's pretty old right now.
And then as it kind of cuts to break, and then Kurt Angle Kurt Angle is his reactions are just such great. He's still
a great character.
He's like, Braun, can you give me a break? Can you give me a break? Didn't we discuss this?
You do
every time you get into a fight, you put people's careers on the line. Can you give me a break just for 1 week? And Braun was like, you know what, Kurt? You're right. You said last man standing, so I was the last man standing. Right. And at the Elimination Chamber, I'm going to be the last man standing. In that WrestleMania, I'm going to be the last man standing over Brock Lesnar. I love when he gets mad like that. I just get so pumped up when Strowman gets mad.
Yeah, Braun Strowman.
I be thinking he going to grab Kurt. This is my mistake.
Right, one day he's just going to shake him real quick.
Oh, I wasn't supposed to do that. Kurt is just looking at him like,
like, what can I do with this man right now?
But he did what he thought he was going to do. If you said last man standing. Like, you set yourself up for failure when you gave him that match.
You decided to pick that match.
So. And nobody's not going to miss Kane, so yeah.
No, we're waiting for him to leave now. But I was thinking of this the other day when I was in the car. I was like, Kane's only purpose is because they need somebody to match up size.
You know, I thought they should have did a plot twist on this. Instead of lifting the
announcer's platform,
put him in a trash can. You're not standing.
Ooh, and that's also reminiscent of the dumpster match they did.
Yep. Put him in a trash can. Bye, Kane. You're not standing.
That's
if
true.
you inside, you locked in there, you can't stand.
That would
he
have been a
did.
good way to end him off. So.
Yep, I would have did it that way.
But Kane, they also said later on the night, which is saying that this whole Kane is not done with WWE, is like they made a commentary. Michael Cole is like saying that Kane sat up in the hospital and crawled out of the hospital. Everybody, the doctors was trying to plead for him to stay, and he made his way out, and nobody knows where Kane is. That's how they left it. It was like nobody knows where Kane is right now.
Oh my God.
So Kane is going to be back, and what I was saying in this a second ago is Kane is the only person that's there just to match up with Braun. Like, you know, beforehand, Braun was just really just doing squash matches. Everybody was considered too small for Braun. It would seem dominant. So this is where Vince still does is the size matters. So Kane is just solely there because besides Brock, they don't have anybody available to do a size versus size thing with Braun.
Understood.
So, I don't like it. Like you said, everybody's ready for Kane to leave because we want Braun to start really getting serious about a title picture. But until then, this is what we have. And I feel like Big Show is going to come back, and then we're going to have that again.
And I don't want to see that again.
I don't either.
That's the perfect way for the Big Show to go out, the way Braun did him last time they fought.
Right.
Bring Chris Masters back.
Yeah.
The masterpiece was he was big.
Yeah, that was
but I think Strowman would handle him, though.
Oh, yeah.
He wouldn't be able to put the master lock on.
No, not at all. After that, the next qualifying match, which I forgot about, which I'm glad. Woken Matt versus Elias. It was another decent match. Bray Wyatt he distracts Matt by, of course, doing this little screen thing. Elias finally hits that boot and then hits that drift away.
I love his drift away, though.
Yeah.
It's an impactful when it's quick.
It is. A snap finisher.
Yeah.
Then Bray Wyatt and Matt, as always. Yeah.
Hey, look.
So that's how that ended, to say the least.
Those sound bites are brought to you by, in part by,
right, Sports Moods,
the Bray Wyatt compound.
The next match we have is a tag match between the Revival and versus Rhino and Heath Slater. They're just another tag squash match between an ECW Nostalgia Act, a living nostalgia, a full contract.
Now Rhino was jump back in ECW.
Facts.
He was the man.
He ain't now.
Him and Rob Van Dam now they ran that.
They won't let him. They won't let him
Sabu
do that now.
Oh man, I love Sabu.
Yeah. So the Revival ends up taking out Rhino's leg, hits their finisher, boom, that's another dub. They cut a good promo. As always, I like that. I feel like they're actually trying to build them because they're making them do the match performance and then promos.
Mm-hmm. So I didn't like the way they buried them with DX last week, but
yeah, of course,
it is what it is with that.
So then after that, we had what I think is the match of the night, which is Asuka taking on Sasha Banks. And did you see?
I already know what you about to say, but go ahead. I seen two things. I don't know if you saw what I see.
I saw
see
two things.
What I see?
Do you? So, I saw first Sasha Banks, which when I saw it the next couple of times, it wasn't as horrible as we all initially thought because she was about to hit her head. Like as Wrestle Talk TV I follow on YouTube, it was like when Sasha Banks made her attempt to try to headbutt the center of the earth. Like so, but when she dove out the ring,
it's like a failed suicide dive.
Yeah. And she just went down. But what I noticed is her midsection caught the
rope,
the corner of the actual mat
apron. Yeah.
So she didn't actually fall directly down. That actually broke that fall for her, because if that wasn't there, she was literally going to have one of those Lita moonsault land on her neck situations.
But then it looked like Asuka made it look like she kicked her as she was coming out.
That was the good twist for it. It was supposed to look like Asuka stopped her in the tracks with that kick, and she just died.
Mm-hmm.
So
because everybody's like, oh, everybody's like, and I was like, no, she hit that ring just now.
Yeah.
So and like that was kind of and Sasha's always been kind of botchy in the ring.
Yeah, she does have those times, which I see it a lot.
If you go back and look at just some of her and Charlotte matches, there's a lot of botches in those matches they had. They had a good rivalry, but it was just a lot of
that's probably the best women's rivalry in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the other side, later on, Asuka, she was doing her little rope thing where she kind of butts the person out the ring, and Sasha held that mid rope down. Now, hers, to me, in looking, like I said, when I looked at both of them closely, hers was a little bit worse because on Sasha Banks' side, the apron broke her fall. Mm-hmm. But for Asuka, she hit the small of her back on the apron to fall off. Mm-hmm. So that one looked like that one was a little bit more painful. But that's the two things I saw. Is there something else?
No, the one I saw was that knee Sasha took when Sasha came off the ropes and Asuka took her head and was like hit her head on the knee.
Oh yeah!
I was like, oh my god!
Yep, you sound like Michael Cole.
It was impactful. It was like she bounced off. She was just like, and it hit her knee. It was like I was like, gosh, she tried to kill her.
It was pretty nasty, but it was a really great.
But I like how they. I didn't mean to cut you off,
go ahead.
I like how Sasha kept getting the bank statement on her.
That's what I was about to get into.
And kept rolling her into it, and I was like,
It's like, it might.
I knew she wasn't going to win, but it was just like, you get up on your seat like, oh, they might come for a moment here.
Right. So, but yeah, out of the third or fourth time Sasha tries to hit that bank statement, she's rolling her back in the middle of the ring. Asuka slides out, finally locks in that Asuka lock.
That's it.
Oh,
she wrote.
So, but I mean, even then, once she hit Asuka, I like Sasha's fight because she actually was on her stomach for a second, trying to kick around,
roll over on her. Yeah.
So I like that. It was
just
a really
like an anaconda. Once that start wrapping around you,
it got tighter and tighter.
That's it.
And once it was over, like both of them was spent. Like Asuka couldn't just get up and celebrate. Like both of them was laid out. Even towards the end, Asuka was just kind of like on the ropes, like this.
And I like how they build that up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know we want to make her look strong, but also have a good competitive match, but then show that this took a lot out of Asuka. She pushed her to the limit, but Asuka still is the unbeatable force that is. You know what?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say this. I feel like with Asuka, Sasha Banks, Charlotte, which Bayley has to make a long stretch to be back in this picture. But now the inclusion of Ronda Rousey, I feel like from a wrestler, like a pure like performing wrestler standpoint, this is the new women's attitude era. This is what this is becoming. Mm-hmm. Just saying how great matches. Like there's a lot of women's matches that have well overperformed over the men's matches as a
They have.
So
Yeah, that was the match of the night for me.
Yeah.
And then we also found out Stephanie McMahon mentioned earlier that night that Alexa Bliss is going to defend the championship in the first ever women's elimination chamber match. So,
which I feel like she's going to lose, depending on who comes in it. Because I guess next week they'll start qualifiers.
They probably will.
So,
more than likely, it'll probably be Bayley. It'll probably be Sasha. They're not going to put Asuka in it.
No,
because she's already got her shot to go. Bayley, Asuka, probably Nia Jax, and Mickie James, and
you think Mickie James gonna get in it?
They might throw Mickie in it. They've been trying to give her some respect. You can't. Who else would you put in there? Alicia Fox or Dana Brooke or?
I'll probably just off of strength, I would put Dana Brooke in, just to give her some good strong pops.
She got to keep up with them. She's a statistician for Titus Worldwide, so that's a demanding job.
I think she has enough free time.
That's a demanding job.
Yeah, I bet.
That's a daunting task.
Is it now?
It is.
All right. Speaking of Titus Worldwide, the next match was them in a tag championship match throughout the weeks past.
I started to curse just now.
What?
I started to say, what the HE hockey sticks did they do to deserve a championship, man?
In the past
just out of the blue.
They stole some wins over the bar in the last couple weeks.
I hadn't been paying attention. Yeah. That's probably why I didn't know that.
Yeah. Apollo Crews, as a matter of fact, had pulled some roll-ups on Sheamus. I think it was Sheamus got the pin on him twice.
Oh, they did?
And got the roll-up. So that's what gave them the title contention for it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was a decent match. I mean, they didn't make Titus Worldwide look any better. I mean, they actually made Apollo look like he could compete. But in the end, of course, the bar won. They did that little white noise kind of slam with Cesaro mixed in it. I think that's how they won.
I actually watched a little bit of this match too. Cruz looked pretty good, man. He did some good stuff. Did a lot of aerial assaults and.
Man, looking at his size though, I was
like, his size to be able to be as
he should be so higher up right now, man.
He should. I don't know, man. But the bar retains the titles, and then the main event, another Elimination Chamber qualifier for the first time ever.
Big match, John Cena.
Hustle, loyalty, and respect.
Got none of that from the Philly crowd that night.
He didn't. And he placed the crowd so well. He went up against...
I genuinely felt like he was bothered that
Finn Balor. Yeah, he was. He was, but my thing was... this match could have been a lot better than what it was. It really wasn't a great match. It's not one that I'll say,
I agree.
Oh, man, that was a great match.
Yeah. I agree with you.
I mean, Finn Balor, that's no disrespect to either one of them. I mean, usually Finn Balor can bring a great match out of people. But maybe he hasn't had a lot of opportunity to build chemistry with John yet.
Honestly?
So maybe if they were to fight again, it would probably be a better match than before.
Honestly? No, I'm going to say this. Because
John Cena ain't going to bring a great match out of anybody. It takes someone else to drive him to a great match, and you know I've always said that.
You have always said that.
I'm sorry.
Which I don't fully agree, but I see where you're going with that. But I want to say is like Vince McMahon, at least what I've heard in past time, once I started following some wrestling reporters or whatever, is that John Cena is usually the person that buries somebody that Vince McMahon doesn't like. So, and in recent months, they've said that Vince thinks that Finn isn't over enough. So I feel like with him having to encounter John being the person to eliminate him in Royal Rumble and then be the one to take him out of the qualifier, I feel like this is Vince's trying attempt to finally bury Finn Balor. At least from that height. Like he wants to get him out of the height where everybody wants him to be, which is in heavyweight contention. And so he might I'm pretty sure Finn has enough pop and sales to keep him there at a mid-card, let him do the Balor Club with the Gallows and Anderson, and they be like the New Day. They're like an intertwining 3-man tag championship situation. But I feel that's what I felt like, just seeing how Cena reacted to the crowd. Like, it was just like, no, I'm, like, even when he won, he said to the crowd, like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm doing it for this though. I'm trying to go here.
Like, I know you like him, but this is more important.
This is what I'm trying to go to.
Yeah.
And what I noticed as the match went on, when he was outside the ring before he went in, he walked over to somebody, kind of did like the "I'm watching you" sign. And then, like, I watched the crowd as he went back in because they just did, like, a hand tie-up. I saw the crowd kind of stay over in that area. And then, like, they made a shock noise for a second. Then they cheered for a second. And then they started chanting back towards the ring and started chanting a-hole towards, I'm guessing, John Cena. So what my idea is that whoever he was pointing at, they got him removed.
Gotcha.
So I was like, that could have been something else that brought a bad.
John always plays to the crowd because you notice last week on Raw 25 with his whole little run-in with Elias type thing, which I thought it would have made more sense for him and Elias. Well, no, because then that would have eliminated each other from the chamber. But at how Elias got over on him at Raw 25 with the guitar thing, could have made them fought against each other. But then it made sense because he eliminated Balor the night before to have Balor fight him. Now him and Elias can visit that rivalry
in the elimination
in the chamber. But, like, in the Raw 25 thing, remember the whole beach ball thing again?
Yeah.
He saw the beach ball, and he just, like, he plays to the crowd.
Yeah, he does.
He does, and he loves it. He likes doing it. Like, he feeds off of it. I don't think he takes anything personally.
I don't know, man. I really feel like Philly hurt him.
Philly got some bad fans.
Philly hurt him.
From all aspects of sports.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially football. But I would say,
like you're trying to take a shot at the Eagles. I don't know what you're doing.
It is the Eagles, and I will take my shot. Not even the NFL segment yet, but I've heard that the Eagles, they were really mean to those Minnesota Viking fans, and now they're in their city, and they want to eat, and they want to eat at restaurants and reserve orders and stuff, and a lot of those restaurants aren't servicing the Eagles.
I mean, I mean, now since we're on this topic, from a fan's perspective, just in fan, not going to get specific on football or anything, but from a fan perspective, realize that if the players have to have some level of sportsmanship, what does that mean for you?
I agree. I hear everything you're saying.
But you just saying that they don't do it. That's not what's happening.
There's this thing called karma. Sometimes it comes around later. Sometimes it comes around right after.
Karma mixed with...
But one thing, karma gonna come. And they were so mean to those people.
Yeah. And I feel like if they did that, if they disrespected Minnesota like how you said they did, they deserve to get that non-treatment in Minnesota. I hope that it's not going to lead into any kind of violence or physical altercation. Just be like, hey, we're not paying. You know,
you want filet mignon tonight? Not here.
Hey, we got a McDonald's down the road for you.
But no, just to throw that in there. But Philly can be a tough crowd anywhere you go. But yes, Cena beats Balor. That was a good little match. Balor tried to get a coup de grace on him. Cena kept moving out of the way, rolling out of it. He had ended up getting the AA. I honestly thought that the Gallows and Anderson was going to try to interfere, but I like the way to just let these two...
Right, just let them go at it.
Let it go at it and let the better man win, and Cena was able to pull it out over Balor. Balor has been moving back up. He's doing more relevant stuff than what he was doing before.
That's true, too.
He's been main eventing a lot of Raws here lately.
But what's left for him now? Like now, this already knocks him out.
You know what's left for him?
This knocks him out of elimination. Well, this knocks him out of the actual elimination chamber match, which ideally knocks him out of WWE title picture for WrestleMania. So now, the only other option I can see is the Intercontinental Championship. So do you think that's what's next, or what do you see for next?
It could be for him for Mania. Him and Miz. I think, like I've always said, if we're not going to put him back in the Universal hunt, which he deserves to be there,
right?
Let him go for the IC title. Let him kind of pad his resume a little bit. You know, have a couple reigns with the IC title, and because I think eventually they're going to try to put the Miz over as the most Intercontinental Championship wins because he's one away from Jericho's record, I think now. But have him do that. But I still think later in this year, after we get past the WrestleMania stage of everything and the whole Roman Brock thing is over, then we can kind of filter him back into the Universal title picture. I honestly believe you got to put the belt back on Balor. He was the first ever champion. He clearly didn't lose his championship.
Yep.
And I think it's unfair to him that he didn't even get a chance to fight for his title again.
Like I said, all right, so this is really just being a devil's advocate right now. But like I said, how John Cena has been reported as being Vince's burial man, and we see now that Finn Balor is one that Vince doesn't care for. What if, this is just a stretch, what if Vince had already put that hit on Finn for the Universal title with Seth Rollins to injure him prior?
I don't think you could make that happen.
I don't know, man.
It's a buckle bomb. I mean, it was just he landed on it wrong. And he even said that.
Yeah.
He didn't take the move. He didn't receive the move properly.
Yeah.
He extended his arm out like that.
He did try to
brace.
Yeah.
But he should have opened his back up and just went against it. But maybe Seth was too far out when he released Balor for it.
On purpose.
No,
look, genuinely, I don't feel like that happened.
Yeah.
I even feel like, even though Vince McMahon may not like people and John Cena's somebody to bury him, and
because he took his arm and he popped it back in.
Right.
That's the type of guy, because he could have ended the match there. Yep. And I feel like you spit on him when you do that. Like, this guy had a broken, and he pretty much popped his arm back into place
to finish
the match, so that your pay-per-view would be a success. He could have laid out on the floor like, I can't go, I can't finish it, and that messes up everything.
Yeah.
But then for somebody who's willing to sacrifice himself that way, and we bury him when he comes back, and he doesn't even get a shot at his belt that he never lost. But anyway,
because he tried to bury him the first time.
Anyway,
that's Monday Night.
That's
Raw.
Monday Night Raw,
and we're gonna go ahead and go from there.
We're gonna go into SmackDown Live Tuesday nights. So as we know, Shinsuke Nakamura wins the Royal Rumble. So he's the first thing we're gonna see on SmackDown.
Facts.
Comes out to that amazing entrance. I've seen it 100 times. It still captivates me every time.
Yeah.
And then especially seeing it live is just like you're just.
I bet that was fun.
Oh my God, Shinsuke! And you just follow him everywhere he goes
right.
in the arena, and But my thing is, he comes out when he talks. We know Shinsuke can't really talk.
But I like how they allow him to be still a man of short words. It's just
yeah.
This needs to face. This.
I dog you. I like when Oscar was talking. I like that. I was like, and all I heard was champion. I said, okay. So she said she gonna win the belt. That's what she was saying.
And then I like when Stephanie McMahon played off of that first time. She was like, I understand that at WrestleMania.
But I mean, that's what happens when you have Japanese stars. But the cool thing is that they ended up. Shinsuke comes out, celebrating. We already know he chose to fought AJ Styles. Then Cammy comes out, as AJ Styles calls them, Kevin and Sammy.
Don't know why he tried to get that.
I don't like how he said that, but I just use it just to be funny. So Cammy comes down, and they're complaining and whining about what happened the night before, and the referees, and they're doing their whole yep movement.
Yep.
And then AJ comes out. And AJ comes down and just like, hey, you had your chance pretty much. It's about me and Shinsuke now. But, since you guys are out here running your mouths, I'm doing a C Moody analysis here. Since you guys out here running your mouth, since Shinsuke's standing here beside me, you two are together, how about you face me and Shinsuke tonight?
That's right.
And then that's what the proposal was. Match wasn't set until they went backstage and still complaining more to Daniel Bryan. And Daniel Bryan makes the match official. He says the referee's decision is final. So,
what I liked even more about that is, of course, Kevin Owens and them were still arguing, and he was like, you know what, y'all do deserve it. He's like, next week I'm gonna give y'all a chance. Next week it'll be Kevin Owens, and then versus Sami Zayn. Oh my God, that's a great.
And then so he made that match, the tag match, and then we went into.
Fatal 4-way.
Fatal 4-way number one contendership for Bobby Roode's United States title. had Mr. Jinder Mahal. You had Kofi Kingston thrown in there. I thought they should have put Xavier back in there. I mean, he was in the tournament. Why not throw him, give him another chance?
I think they're really just going to go through the whole New Day.
The New Day.
After this, the next qualifier is going to have Big E in.
So they put Kofi in. Then you had Rusev Day. And Zack Ryder just pulled out of somewhere.
Of course.
Just thrown in there.
It's because of Mojo. He got rid of Mojo, so now you technically have to fight, you know.
It makes sense.
Zack Ryder.
Makes sense. So it's a nice little fatal four. It's not nothing to take your breath away. But it went back and forth. I think Rusev came out on top.
Yeah.
At the end of it.
Hits that
accolade on who did you get?
Kofi.
On Kofi. He got the accolade on Kofi for the victory. And he's the number one contender, and he's going to face Bobby Roode
next week.
Next week on SmackDown Live. He went down and stared at Bobby Roode after he won. Rusev is no familiar and is not unfamiliar to the United States title.
Of course.
Every time he's had it, he's had a long run with it. So this was a different Rusev then, though.
Yeah.
This is an over Rusev
this
now.
This is a face Rusev.
Face
almost.
Rusev now. I don't think they'll take the title off Roode just yet.
I hope not. It's too soon for me.
So we'll see what next week brings for that. So United States title match.
Maybe they'd start a feud, like let it just be like Bobby gets away with the win and they still have to fight again. So yeah.
And then as we move on, the Usos come out, talking about their dominance. I think.
Have everything on lock.
On lock.
Ching.
Yeah, they're just bragging about how they've kind of been, holding the titles and beating every team that's come up against them and just going back and forth about that. And then
Bludgeon Brothers.
You hear that music. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun.
I love that music.
And it was very ironic how he said, "We'll even beat brothers."
Yeah.
And then they come out and they don't even acknowledge the Usos.
They really don't.
They walk right past the Usos like y'all not even here. Y'all, we're gonna get to y'all eventually, but right now we coming down here to
take care of these local competitors.
So they come down. I think they ended up fighting. I don't even know who these people were.
I said local competitors. That's all I know.
Somebody they pulled from Philly, the Philadelphia School of Wrestling.
That's it.
It's like, hey, y'all want to go to SmackDown tonight?
It's like you got to
beat
fight
by the
these
Bludgeon
guys.
Brothers. Sure, we'll do that. We'll take $1,000 check for that.
Exactly. Get a little check to get beat up for a few minutes.
And then the Bludgeon Brothers win.
Squash match.
They win it in seconds. And they move on. And then after that, I think Charlotte comes down.
Yep.
And she's just talking about the Royal Rumble, how it ended, the Ronda Rousey showing up.
Which is leading into their match.
I think that's what it's going to be, her and Rousey. That's the first person to put away. I think that's the best person to put away right now.
And Ronda's she has to win. She has to beat her.
She will. So I feel now that Charlotte's heel is kind of coming back out.
It kind of is.
It's kind of a little bit. It's not like full fledged as we've seen before, but when she gets confident and when she feels like there's somebody competitive with her trying to take her spotlight, hey, she gonna go back to what she do. That's the flair in her anyway. So
of course.
And she's just talking about that. And I think the Riot Squad comes down, right?
Yeah.
And what do they end up doing?
Oh, of course they jump her. But of
course they jump her.
I like how Ruby is pretty much saying she's just a copycat of her father. I didn't like that. And then Charlotte still like, woo, still in her face. So it's like, and Charlotte actually was fending herself for a moment.
And nobody came down to help her.
Nope.
How many weeks have we seen them run down to help?
The entire women's division.
Yeah, but this time, it's like they build the faction up, break it down, build it up, break it down.
But I think what's going on now is because of Paige's inability, that kind of breaks that faction on Raw. So I feel like now they're going to actually push the Riot Squad now.
They could.
As the dominant.
Because they still got one more pay-per-view before
Fastlane.
Unless they keep beating her up and Rousey pops up, and that's when she gets her first physical action. Comes down actually to help Charlotte.
And that actually might happen.
And then Charlotte kind of looks at her. She's helping Charlotte, and then she maybe attacks Charlotte. I don't know if Rousey will be a face or a heel.
I feel like Charlotte will say something first, like, I don't need your help. I am royalty. Like
I don't know if you heard who I am or whatever, but I can hold my own. But So I don't know how that'll go, but
we'll see, man. Time will tell.
But they beat up the SmackDown Live Women's Champion Charlotte Flair, and then I think after that it went to
Carmella.
Carmella tried to cash in. That is right. Her time is running out too.
Yeah, it's
I
almost
think she's got to like June, because I think the Money in the Bank was in June or July, so she's got only a couple months left to try to.
Yeah,
I thought she was gonna get it though.
I did too.
Cause Charlotte's just like laying in the ring,
flat
on her back.
I thought she was gonna win it, but I was like, bruh.
But the referee couldn't get himself together. It seemed like she tried to cash in. Then
he was talking to the ref, and then like Charlotte was getting up right behind her, so she was trying to boot Charlotte to the face. Charlotte got out the way, and she ended up booting the ref out the ring. And so the ref was like down for the longest time, and by that time she looked back, and Charlotte's standing up now, mad, and she's like, just take.
You know what? I think I'm gonna just wait another time. I'll wait, but that's good that she did that though.
Yeah, I'm glad that they're actually doing that with her.
Yeah, because I mean, she just been holding it like a prop. You know, she only tried to cash in like once before that.
Yeah, like maybe like half. Once and a half, because I feel like she got close, and then like they kicked her like soon as. So, but then in my mind,
she didn't feel like Baron Corbin did.
Exactly. Like I don't feel like they'll let her fail. Like she'll win it, but it's in my mind is like if she wins it now, will I want to see her versus Ronda?
No.
But that thing would be though for SmackDown side, it'll be easier to see Ronda beat up on Carmella than to go ahead and put out Charlotte.
You got to give her a mega match. She's a mega star. You got to give her. You got to start her here when she comes in. That's Ronda Rousey, man.
That's true too.
Now if it's just somebody come up from NXT, yeah, make them work up.
But I'm thinking like, I guess yeah. I was about to say I am thinking like Asuka, but like you said, coming up from NXT. So yeah,
but this Ronda Rousey, like she was here in her respected sport until she. But she's still Ronda.
Took some L's, but yeah, she's still Ronda.
Yeah. So and then after that, I think we got into the main event, right?
We had this
we had one more thing.
Brief match: Ty Dillinger versus Baron Corbin.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
Now I will say this: this is probably the strongest I've ever seen Ty look, because like they actually let like a clothesline take out Baron Corbin a couple of times by Ty Dillinger. But besides that, I mean, it was the same match of how you would imagine it to end. Baron Corbin, end of days. Yeah, he comes out with the win. But now. The main event? No, we got one more match. It's a tag match. I forgot. American Beta.
Oh yeah, they did fight
versus the Fashion Police.
Yeah,
which was another decent, but still they're not using Fashion Police anything more than
they even took their little skits off TV for a little while.
Right.
You only can see them online or something like that
on WWE Network or something. And so they finally, of course, American Beta, which I'm just not saying that Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable wins, doing their little tag finisher, and they get their dub. So I guess they're going to come back for another title. I hope they're not come back for another title bout. I think it's going to end up being them versus the Bludgeon Brothers for number one contenders. And of course, Bludgeon Brothers are going to win.
Yeah, and then they'll go on to fight the Usos.
They're going to make that at Fastlane. I don't feel like they'll make that a WrestleMania moment.
They
Not
might.
with the Bludgeon Brothers.
They might can, because you got to think WrestleMania will be almost 5-6 hours long, so they might put it on a pre-show or something.
But I just don't see that being like. I mean, I guess because I haven't seen Eric Rowan play. Like I know Luke Harper is pretty good at his performance. Eric Rowan, I'm a little worried about. So seeing them trying to dance with the Usos for that long time to make a.
I think if you have them fight the Usos, have them win quick. Just show their dominance.
WrestleMania?
Show their dominance.
Sheesh, though, I wouldn't want that at WrestleMania. I would rather that be something that happens at Fastlane, and then Usos like, we want our rematch, now we're going to come smarter, and then they have a longer match at WrestleMania.
Yeah, because I think when they first win it, they need to win it like they've been winning everything else, and everybody just leave everybody stunned. Just be like, oh my God, the Bludgeon Brothers just destroyed the Usos.
I like that. I like that idea.
Yep. Let them win like bang. Before you even know what happened. But
now we're ready for your main event.
The main event finally. We got AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura versus Cammy and Sammy and Kevin. And it was an okay match. I really wasn't as thrilled with it. We saw some dissension or not. between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. It's hard to believe them sometimes. Because remember, we saw that with Jericho and Kevin. And like they were back, they were feuding, and it was actually something to try to get over on everybody. So, Sami Zayn looked like he was going to walk away from it, let Kevin fend for himself. After that, what did you think?
Like you said, I don't know how real they're going to let that play out. Well, I guess really I feel like we'll see next week maybe. Well, no, we won't, because even Jericho and Kevin Owens sold it until they got to the actual title shot. But I mean, it was okay. It was a pretty good match. I like the story that they sold between each other, and then it got to the point where Sammy did come back, and they started tagging each other harder and harder, slapping each other in the chest. Then when Kevin Owens got knocked into Sammy finally was fed up and was like, you know what, I'm done.
But you know what I think they should do this time? If there's a turn, let Sammy do it.
I think Sammy is going to be. I think Sammy's going to be the one to turn this time.
Because Kevin, we already expect Kevin to do it.
So like Sammy can have that Roman Reigns Royal Rumble, I'm going to get you before you get me kind of situation.
And you've always seen in the past how Kevin has done Sammy.
Yeah.
And, and have Sammy kind of turn on him.
And so even then Sammy said something about like how, this is my time because Kevin Owens had the championship. He's won this. It's like I haven't done anything yet. So I feel like that's going to fuel him to take out Kevin Owens eventually. So.
But yeah, Shinsuke and AJ win it. I think they won it with a Kinshasa, right?
Yep, he hit that Kinshasa on KO.
Kevin KO, and that was it. And they kind of celebrate after the fact. I don't want to see this with Shinsuke and AJ though.
Why?
I don't want to see them be friends. But we got to fight over this title in a couple months. We need to build up.
But I like the respect.
There's respect. I can still respect you and not have to be hanging around you and stuff. Like you saw how Randy Orton cut that short. Remember how they used to always pair Shinsuke and Randy, Randy, and then Randy was just like Randy hit that RKO on him the week before.
Yeah, but that was nasty.
He got him again in the Rumble.
Yeah.
So, like, you got to know how to cut that off. Like, it's the championship on the line. Like, I respect you, but I got to fight you.
Touche.
But I understand they were doing this for a common goal to fight Sammy and Kevin.
Right.
But I want to see them kind of spread away from that and actually go against each other. But, I mean, that's pretty much all I have with WWE, with the Royal Rumble, Raw. I know we took a little bit of a long time on that. We just had to catch you guys up to speed on everything.
Yeah.
With WWE, do you have anything else for it?
Nah, man, I think we knocked that out. I think, like you said, we took a little bit of time, but usually when we do pay-per-views, we tend to try to have a segment, designated for the pay-per-view, so we kind of had to fuse that in with tonight, so that's why we had such an extensive WWE thing to talk about, but we got it all accomplished, man.
Yeah. So we're going to close off this segment, and when we come back, we're going to get into some college basketball, some NBA action. We had a big trade that hit the trade blocks this past week. We'll talk about how we feel about that. Also, a major performance from one of the big MVP candidates. Find out who that was. You're listening to Sports Moods, 2 Moodies,
1 Duty.
Sports. We'll be right back. All right. Welcome back to Sports Moods. Again, D Moody here with
C Moody.
Sports Moods, 2 Moodies.
1 Duty.
Sports. We're going to give you guys a quick little recap before we jump into college basketball and the NBA. Australian Open is officially over for the men's and the women's side of things. Winning for the women was Caroline Wozniacki for America. winning her first Australian Open championship. She defeated Simone Halep to win the Australian Open championship. So congratulations to Caroline Wozniacki for bringing home the year's first major of tennis. And on the men's side of things, a familiar face, just like a fine wine, it just gets better with time. Now, he did have some easier routes. I did know that Djokovic was eliminated much earlier, like in the quarterfinals by Chung, and then Rafael Nadal had to face off with Chung, which Rafael Nadal retired in his semifinal matchup with Chung. Okay. So he had issues going on with injuries. So he had to retire. So that put Chung through to the semifinals. Excuse me. And then because he beat Djokovic in the round of 16, then he moved on to the quarters versus Rafael Nadal. Then Rafael had to retire, and then Chung went to the semis of the tournament, and then he had to face off with Roger Federer, where he had to retire as well. So it was kind of weird that they saw a lot of retirements in the tournament due to like injuries and stuff, where they didn't get to finish certain matches.
WWE script now.
Whatever. But Roger Federer went on to face Marian Cilic for the Australian Open Championship, and Roger Federer won his 20th Grand Slam championship. Congratulations to the GOAT of tennis.
Definitely, man. So for his career, this man has 96 singles titles.
Man, that's amazing. And 20 of them Grand Slams. He's been to 30 Grand Slam finals, and he's won 20 of 30, which is good.
Yeah, that's definitely.
And he's just getting up there in age, but he's still the leader in total Grand Slams won for the men. Rafael Nadal's 4 behind him with 16, and Novak Djokovic is 8 behind him with 12. So I don't know if either one of those guys can try to contest him for the most all time. Rafa and him have been pretty close, but it was 18-16 at one time.
Yeah.
But Federer won Wimbledon last year, and then won the Australian Open last year. Then he turned around and won Wimbledon, and then has won the Australian Open again this year. So that puts him up to 20 at this point. So congratulations to both of those winners winning the year's first major for tennis. So just want to give you guys a recap of who won that. So we're going to shift it over to college basketball right quick. We're going to go over the top 10 as it stands in college basketball. Number 10 is Texas Tech at 17-4, still having a solid season in the Big 12. Number 9 is Arizona at 18-4 in the Pac-12. Number 8 is Cincinnati at 19-2. Very quietly in there in the top 10. Got to watch out for the Bearcats. Number 7 is Kansas at 17-4. Number 6 is Xavier at 19-3. Number 5, Michigan State. They got a lot going on with that university right now with the investigation of just a lot of stuff going on. I don't really have time to really get into it tonight, just for the sake of time. But if you just please read up on it if you're not aware of what's going on. It's a lot going on for that university right now for the Spartans. But they're at 20-3. Number 4 is Duke at 18-3. Duke did suffer a loss this past weekend to Virginia at home. And so did North Carolina. North Carolina lost. And they said it was the first time that Duke and North Carolina lost on the same day since like 1977.
Wow.
So it rarely happens when they lose on the same day.
Yeah.
But Duke did end up losing that one at home to Virginia. Number 3 is Purdue, 21-2 on the season. They won a tough game last week versus Michigan. They played Michigan tough in both their games this year. They came away with narrow wins versus the Wolverines. Number 2 is Virginia at 20-1. Virginia is a solid team, very good defensively. They had some clutch wins against Duke. They held Clemson to like 36 points. And they played Clemson last week. Virginia's just a tough go for anybody at this point. They play really good defense, and they make you play a half-court game. They contest every shot, make it tough for you. Number 1 is Villanova at 20-1, so they still hold the number 1 spot. Some notable teams outside the top 10, but we still keep an eye on. Number 12, Oklahoma at 15-5. Trae Young went off for 44 points and a 98-96 win over Baylor the other night. I think that was Tuesday night that they won that game. Okay. It was a close game. Trae Young is probably one of the better scorers in college basketball right now.
Yeah.
The way he shoots it, I mean, from deep range. I mean, he's shooting NBA three-pointers right now. So, I mean, he's killing it. Oklahoma really has a good prospect in Trae Young. And from a North Carolina Tar Heels right now at number 19, I will be surprised even if they're in the top 25 after this week. They've lost 3 in a row, 6 on the season, 16-6. 3 straight losses. Started out with a loss to Virginia Tech, then turned around and lost to NC State over the weekend, and also lost earlier this week to Clemson. So Carolina's kind of going in the wrong direction at this point with a big February 8th matchup against Duke next week. We do know local Jalik Felton is suspended for the Tar Heels. They haven't really kind of gone into detail as to what the suspension is for.
Yeah.
All I know is that they're in full support of it, and they're trying to get him back focused on what needs to be done so they can get him back on the court to be a part of the team again. So, by us being here from the South Carolina area, we know a lot about this young kid and where he came from. Yeah. And he's suspended as of right now for the Tar Heels. Number 21, Kentucky's ranked once again, 16-5. They had a quality win versus West Virginia last week in Bob Huggins. And they had a close overtime win the other night at Rupp Arena versus Vanderbilt. Went to overtime. They were able to pull that one out for Coach Cal and the Cats. So that's how college basketball looks as far as the top 10 goes. Right now, as we know, I'm a big Tar Heel fan. My Tar Heels are struggling in the ACC play right now. Roy Williams has said this is probably one of the worst defensive teams he's coached in a while.
Wow.
So it's kind of a struggle for them right now. I don't think he's throwing his team under the bus. He may just be saying that to try to ignite a fire in them, given the fact that they are slumping as of right now. Now, on the women's side of things, we have some big matchups tonight, especially one big one in Columbia, South Carolina, defending national champion Lady Gamecocks. Should be already underway, taking on number 1 UConn. South Carolina is ranked number 7, number 1, and undefeated UConn going at it right now. Do we have a score of that game right now?
I'm sorry, let's go. What was the game?
It should have been the UConn Huskies taking on the South Carolina Gamecocks, number 1 versus number 7. They've never defeated the Huskies.
As of right now, at the end of the third quarter, UConn is up 69 to number 7 South Carolina at 41.
Wow. Yeah. So, yeah. UConn's tough. They're just a tough out for anybody. And luckily, South Carolina didn't have to face them last year to win the championship. Yeah. They had to go against Mississippi State, who had that, historic win versus UConn in the Final Four. So South Carolina got a national championship out of it. I'm pretty sure they won't complain.
Oh, no.
I mean, they didn't have to face UConn, but I think this year, if they want to repeat, it could very likely be that they have to, anybody who wants to try to win the championship is going to have to face the Gino Auriemma and the Huskies. Right. Also tonight for the women's, number 14, Texas A&M versus number 12, Tennessee.
That game's over.
What's the score of that one?
Tennessee wins at 82-67.
82-67 win for the Lady Volunteers. Also unranked Lady Tar Heels taking on number 5 Notre Dame. Do we have a score of that one?
Right now, with a little bit left in the fourth quarter, Notre Dame is up 81-40.
Well, that's pretty much in the bag for the Irish there. And then also number 2, Mississippi State, fresh off their national championship game appearance last year versus the Gamecocks. Taking on number 15, Missouri in the SEC Showdown.
That starts at 8:30.
That starts at 8:30, so that game is not quite underway as of yet. So that's pretty much some college basketball action from both the men's and the women's side of things. And now we're going to have Mr. C. Moody kind of segue us into the NBA segment. But before we do, we kind of want to have a brief moment of silence for Rasul Butler, who we lost this past week. Him and his wife died in a car crash in Los Angeles. He played 14 years in the NBA. Definitely going too soon from us. He was 38 years old. He played for the Heat, Hornets, the Clippers, the Bulls, the Raptors, the Pacers, and also the Spurs. Born 1979, passed away January 31st of 2018. Him and his wife together in a car crash. We're going to have a moment of silence for him. We're going to let C. Moody go ahead after that. Go ahead and get us into some good stuff that's going on in the NBA tonight and around the league.
Okay. What's going on right now as far as the scores in the NBA? We have the Raptors and the Wizards. The Wizards are currently without John Wall. The game is, so far in the third quarter, is pretty close. Washington taking the edge right now as I speak, 70-68. Some of the top scorers right now is between Valanciunas for the Raptors with 16, Bradley Beal with 13 on the other side. Another game just getting underway. The Minnesota Timberwolves taking on the Milwaukee Bucks. Starting off, getting close to the end of the first quarter. The Timberwolves are up 17-14. And the Antetokounmpo with 6, Karl Anthony Towns with 7. The Rockets didn't want to get into it. We'll talk about the player from that team in a moment, but the Rockets are currently taking on the Spurs as they get within 5 minutes of the first quarter. They are up 18-12. Ryan Anderson of the Rockets with 9. Danny Green of the Spurs with 6. Another team with someone we have to talk about, the Grizzlies, taking on for the first night of debuting Blake Griffin. One of the major trades, possibly the most major trade that's happened so far up to the NBA trade deadline. Debuting for the Pistons. They're into the third quarter. The Grizzlies just taking the edge right now, 58-56. Blake Griffin does have 18 points right now. And on the other side, Dylan Brooks is the top scorer for the Grizzlies. Other games that's going on tonight, one last one, is the Denver Nuggets taking on the Oklahoma City Thunder at 10:30 Eastern Time. So, with that being said, like we said, one of the major trades going on is Blake Griffin being sent to the Pistons, which was a shock to most of the NBA world, including Blake Griffin himself. So, is there anything you want to add to that?
I just think right now it's time. For the Clippers, it was the first step up was Chris Paul last year.
Yeah.
And I think right now they're just getting ready to try to break this team down. I don't think it's a full rebuild, but I think it's more of a reposition and re-engage.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they're doing with the Clippers right now.
And they also got rid of Jamal Crawford, which was like one of the best 6 men, for some time right now in the NBA.
And right now there are also rumors of DeAndre Jordan could be on the trade block, as well as Lou Williams, who's been putting up some nice performances this year too, and it kind of makes me wonder, what's the future of Doc Rivers in LA as well.
Definitely.
That was a really good team, and they had all their components together. They just could never
finish
the job. So got a championship coach in Doc Rivers, just couldn't really get the full max potential out of that team.
Yeah. With NBA trade talks right now, as we're talking about, another one is Nikolai Mirotic of the Chicago Bulls being traded to the Pelicans in exchange for Omer Asik, Tony Allen, and Jameer Nelson with a 2018 first-round pick from New Orleans.
Yeah, that could be a good move for the Pelicans, even though I know they've lost Boogie Cousins last week,
right?
Which is a devastating loss. It just kind of seems like the Pelicans were just rounding into form.
Definitely.
And to have a key injury like that, it's going to hurt. He's got to kind of move past it. This is kind of another injury that he's had similar to that with the ACL type thing. So he's been dealing with that a couple years into his career. So hopefully Boogie Cousins can, get well and get back on the court, at the earliest as he can. But, it's probably going to be a season-ending type of injury with that, which
yeah,
it's part of the game though. It's part
yeah,
of the
man.
game.
Unfortunate truth about that.
Yeah, unfortunate, but never know when injury's gonna strike.
So, with the talking about switching teams, something wild. One of the most wildest probably talks about things that have happened today is LeBron saying that he would even consider the Warriors, but out of respect to their winning nucleus over there, he would consider them if they could find some kind of max cap room for him.
That's the thing. How would you find the room?
They would
With
have
Durant making what he's got to make, and you got to give Curry what he deserves. I mean, do we get rid of Clay? Do we get rid of Michigan State Spartan
Draymond.
Yeah. Do we get rid of him? You got to give up a lot to get the king.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, so I don't entertain this. I don't think this is even going to be a thing of relevance when it comes down to it. I do think LeBron's going to leave Cleveland after this year. I just have no idea where he's going to go.
LA.
A lot of people feel maybe Clippers now. Try to build around that. I don't know.
He's going to the Lakers.
A lot of people feel he's going to the Lakers. I just can't see that.
I can't see it, but I just feel
I just can't see that. I can't even wrap my head around him going to the Lakers. But I just feel like this right here, it would be the same thing that people gave. Well, I guess you couldn't say it because Durant never beat the Warriors. LeBron did. So it's like, if you can't beat them, join them. That's what kind of thing people gave Durant for. Gave him strife about. But my thing is, you've battled this team year after year, 3 years in a row, and now considering the fact of potentially joining them, I think they'll give him a harder time than they did Durant.
They should. I definitely feel like they should, considering that they even did that with Durant. Because, like you said, LeBron's beat the Warriors, but once out of 3.
But you think now, if I want to play devil's advocate here,
okay.
The first time they played them, they didn't have Love and they didn't have Kyrie. Mm-hmm. If they do, and LeBron held his own in that series. Now they had a lead in that series, 2-1, I think.
Yeah.
But at the end, that's just what if, could have been, should have been, would have been, whatever,
right? Type
talk. But I'm just saying, I don't think there's any validity to this.
I don't think
that there's no possibility he's not going to go.
He just wanted to spark conversation.
I think that's just a spark conversation. NBA needs a headline right now. The NFL has all the headlines right now with the Super Bowl and all the trades and stuff that's going on over there. So
right.
NBA needs a headline, and they got one with that. Now, speaking of the Cavs, we do know Kevin Love is out with a broken hand, 6 to 8 weeks. So to me, Kevin Love always hurt. Is he that brittle?
He might be, man.
It just seems like the littlest things. Just if he clips his toenail the wrong way, he's out for 10 weeks. I'm just saying, man. I love Kevin Love's game, but I've heard some rumors that there's a lot of dissension in that locker room with the Warriors. I know there's a lot of defensive issues. They're giving up 114 points a game.
Yeah,
that's a little worse than the NBA. But also, I was watching a sports show this week, and they were saying that they think that the Cavaliers team is too black for Kevin Love.
Wow, that's weird.
They feel like he doesn't quite, fit in, and that's why he feels like the outsider or the.
Did they not
Did you see the little clip with the thing with the jacket when he took off the little pullover shirt and he threw it at? I don't know if he meant to do it, but it's like, okay, you're sitting beside me and I'm taking off my jacket now.
Yeah.
And once I take it off to throw it off to go in the game, he threw it and it covered one of his teammates' face.
Ah, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I didn't see that. But they say it's too black for him. Did nobody see the him dropping dimes commercial with him and Chris Paul a couple years ago? Like, that's pretty black. not to be ignorant right now.
Dropping dimes.
Not to be ignorant right now, but I'm just saying, like,
I just threw that out there.
That's a push. Like that's
a reach.
Yeah, it's a reach.
There you go. They're reaching on that.
They're reaching right now. So,
but I mean, that's some of the things that have been said. He's out with a broken hand 6 to 8 weeks. We also know John Wall's getting that knee cleaned up. He's going to be out 6 to 8 weeks. NBA. So I think they had Drummond replace him in the All-Star game, where John Wall would have started. Now back to this Blake Griffin thing. Blake Griffin, him and Drummond together, I think that's pretty good. I mean, Drummond's not a caliber player of Blake Griffin, but he is a rebounding machine.
Yeah. And, Blake has been playing more of the shooter's position than being as aggressive in the hole as he can be.
Mm-hmm. But he gets aggressive defensively sometimes,
yeah, and
too.
defensively, definitely. I'm just seeing, like, his offense is, he's trying to show more versatility. Versatility, I guess that's the word. But, yeah.
As you remember when he first came in the league, all he was highlight reel, just dunks. And now he's posterizing people. Now he actually has a little game where he can dribble the ball, put it down on the floor, can score a little bit. And he's got a little arrogance about him, too, and an aggressiveness, too. I like that about him, and I think that'll fit into what the Pistons do along with Drummond. But I think him and Drummond together on the front court side of things it's going to be something to deal with in the East.
Yeah.
But I think the Pistons could be a good fit for him. I don't really see anything long term. I don't know if they're going to try to lock him in. But I do know he's not on the back half of his career, but he's entering into that part where it begins to decline more than increase. Anyway. But I mean, that's what's going on around the NBA right now. But we're going to give it to Steve Moody because he's got to unveil to us the magnificent masterpiece performance that we saw the other night from the bearded one.
Tuesday versus the Orlando Magic. James Harden decided that he was just going to take the team into his own hands and not only make a triple-double.
He does that a lot, though.
I mean, he does. He's been doing it for a while now. Not only does he decide to get a triple-double with 11 assists, 10 rebounds, he decides to rack up 60 points.
Yeah, that's
a good move. And deserves an applause. To be the first person to rack up a triple-double with 60 points in NBA history for the win, 114 to 107. So, I wanted to ask the question. Big shout out to James Harden, which he is, of course, still the league leader in points. Does this make him make this the greatest one game performance?
I mean, we've seen Kobe's 83. We've seen. Well, I wasn't alive to see Chamberlain's 100 in a game.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that was a magnificent performance at that time to see that. I mean, we've seen 60-point performances, but I guess in order to have all the triple-double to go along with it, saying that's never happened before, I'm not going to be a prisoner of the moment and say that was the best performance I've seen.
Yeah.
Take over the game, because it was a close game. Maybe if this happens in the playoffs or something on a big stage in a finals game or something, I'm like... And the funny thing about it, they were talking about it was like the Rockets just came off like a stretch where they had like 10 televised games on TV and so many games. And this was the one game he waits to go off like that when it's not a televised game.
Right.
So TNT could have had this, ESPN could have had this live to boost their ratings, but it wasn't a live game on television, on national TV. Anyway. But, I mean, I'm not going to say it's the best performance I've seen. Because I just think back to some just clutch performances where we've seen Russell Wilson do some great things too. We've seen some monster performances by Curry. We just saw that this past weekend against the Celtics, 49 points. Him and Kyrie both went off in that game. I mean, it's not 60 points in a triple-double, not discrediting that. But, I mean, I've seen monster performances. And I always think all the way back to before the first run in Cleveland for LeBron in that playoff game when he took over that Pistons game in that fourth quarter where he scored like 27 in a row type thing. Maybe a lot of people feel none of that compares, but I'm not going to be a prisoner of the moment and say that was the single most greatest performance I've seen in the NBA, but it's up there.
Yeah. So I took the time to look up just the statistics between the top scoring performances. The only other two, the two highest ones being Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game he did in 1962 versus the Knicks, and Kobe Bryant's 81 in 2006 versus the Raptors.
I said 83, 81.
Yeah. So my thing, what got me the first time I heard it, I mean, of course, James Harden is historic, but he had to get 60 points, 10 rebounds, and 11 assists to win by 7.
But the thing is, though, in his defense, he didn't have Chris Paul that night, and he was missing somebody else, too. Was it Ariza? Somebody.
I think Ariza.
Somebody, one of those other two didn't play.
But, so, I mean, I guess that point when you're down, because for me, I was like, if you're racking up that much stats, in my mind, I feel like this should be a blowout. Like it doesn't have to be a blowout by saying they won by 50, but 7 sounds like a close game for me to have that kind of rack. And to me, it takes away my idea of saying how great James Harden is, but more so saying how much the team lacks without him. Like he had to do it, but like you said, it can to his defense.
The Magic though,
even worse.
That's what I'm saying.
So
I mean, I'm not discrediting the man. I'm
not saying this to say that James Harden really didn't have that great of a performance. I mean, to get that in any capacity is amazing, and for him to be the only person in history to have it, that's a stat that nobody's gonna be able to take away from him. Because even if somebody can come up to do that, he's still gonna be the first person in history.
Yeah.
So, but I just say like with Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game, he had 25 rebounds to boot. They won by 22. Kobe Bryant's 81 points, even though he didn't have any other double or anything, they still won by 18. And he played against the Raptors, which in the 06 Raptors wasn't a good Raptors. I don't know what quality the Knicks were in 62. So, because once again, neither one of us was born at that age.
Yeah.
So, just looking at the stats between these top performances, but I mean, James Harden definitely, to have that in a triple-double is amazing for what he has to do and to show his dedication of getting it done for his team, losing a Chris Paul for the night, losing a Trevor Ariza for the night. And so,
question though.
Okay.
Does this lock up the MVP for him? For the season? For that performance alone?
If it ended today, yes.
You took my words. If it all ended today.
Definite. Unanimous. If it ended today, I would give it to him unanimously.
I think it just won him the MVP.
You think so?
I think that's
what's going to do it?
That's the tipping point. Like, hey, if it's someone else comes up close to him, it's like, okay, look at what they did. But this dude had the first ever 60-point blase game in history.
Yeah, he might
with triple-double. I think it locks him up because, I mean, we've seen Curry miss games this year. We've seen Harden miss games this year because you can't play that card. Well, he didn't play in every game. Well, Curry was out. And I think a lot of times LeBron is he always puts up good numbers. It's just he's a prisoner of his own success. We just become that becomes an expectation for LeBron to do that.
Exactly.
So I just feel that I don't want to be a prisoner of the moment, but I honestly feel that locks it up for him.
Okay. I agree.
But it was a great performance. Not the greatest I've ever seen, but it is awesome to score 60 and to be able to do all the other things too, the rebounds, the assists, showing that you were also sharing the ball, but also contesting shots and helping in the rebounding department as well, and also scoring at the same time. He also hit a turnaround 3-pointer and one type situation that gave him 60.
Okay.
Because he was at 56, and then once he hit the 3 and he got fouled and hit the free throw to put him at 60. And then at the end of the game, they let him get the last rebound to put him there.
Of course.
So they kind of everybody backed up and just once they missed, just let him get.
So they've been watching Russell Westbrook last year.
The WWE strikes again.
Man. I'm sorry,
but go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say. I mean,
great performance.
Yeah, great performance from Mr. James Harden.
So in the NBA, the standings for the East and the West as it goes now for the top 8. The ones that would make it into the playoffs for the East. Going from bottom up, Philadelphia 76ers, breaking even at 24-4 at number 8. 7, Milwaukee Bucks 27-22. Number 6, the Indiana Pacers 29-23. Number 5, the Washington Wizards holding on up there at 28-22. Number 4, the Miami Heat. Still shocks me to say that without.
I gotta give credit to Eric Spoelstra.
Yeah,
he's a pretty good coach. He doesn't give a lot of praise. He was doing pretty good before LeBron and Bosh got there.
He took D-Wade and Shaq.
Well, Pat Riley did that.
Oh, Pat Riley. Yeah,
but he took him to the playoffs a couple times.
Yeah, that's true.
But Spoelstra's a really unappreciated.
That was Pat Riley's last one, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Spoelstra's an unappreciated coach in the NBA.
Yeah, so Miami Heat having 29 wins, 22 losses. Number 3, the Cleveland Cavaliers. People always talk about, we're in panic mode for the Cavaliers. There's number 3 in the East.
They are number 3 in the East, but they have issues.
Yeah, they do. They definitely have
camaraderie issues right now. They have defensive issues, as I mentioned. They're giving up 114 points a night. I don't still think Isaiah's fitting well into the fold as well as we thought he would. Right. I say give it 15 or 20 games, but they have a lot of issues. Kevin Love, is he in? Is he out?
Right.
Whatever it is.
Yeah. Cavaliers at 30-20. Number 2, Toronto Raptors, 34-15, and the Boston Celtics still holding the reins at the top, 37-15. On the western side, from the bottom up, Denver Nuggets squeezing in there at 26-25. Number 7, New Orleans Pelicans at 27-23. Number 6, the Portland Trailblazers, 29-22. Number 5, the Big 3 in Oklahoma City, the Thunder, 30-21. Number 4, the Minnesota Timberwolves, 32-22. Number 3, the San Antonio Spurs, 34-19. Number 2, the Houston Rockets with the trailblazing James Harden, 36-13. And the Golden State Warriors at 40-11. And that is the standings for the NBA as of right now. So,
I just feel like obviously a lot of people are not giving a lot of respect to the Raptors. Obviously they've been a really good regular season team. I just need to see it in the playoffs from them. And then the West is going to be decided between Houston and Golden State. We know Houston's already beaten Golden State 2 out of 3 times. And we just saw Golden State lose by 30 the other night to Utah with Curry and Durant in the lineup. So, each team has their off nights. They have their own nights. But we'll just see after the All-Star break, the stretch run of the season begins. We'll see who solidifies themselves as the front runners for the title.
Yeah, definitely, man. So with that being said, man, I think we're going to wrap up this segment. When we come back, we are a few days away from Super Bowl, what number?
52.
52, the New England Patriots taking on Philadelphia Eagles this Sunday. So we're going to talk about it, just to recap what we've already predicted. See if anything's changed on our perspective. I doubt it, though. But this is Sports Moods. 2 Moodies.
1 Duty.
Sports. We'll be right back. All right, guys, we are back. Wow, my voice cracked just now. I heard that. I sound like a not middle-aged, a teenager. Either way, we are back. C. Moody here with
D. Moody.
And we are Sports Moves, 2 Moodies.
1 Duty.
Sports. And we gave a really detailed explanation of the Royal Rumble, Monday Night Raw, and SmackDown Live as we are on the road to WrestleMania. Not only that, we got into tennis, our key sport, because we both were varsity champions. Not really, but just let us believe that. As well as college basketball action leading into the NBA action. What's going on with trades, and as well as the stellar performance from James Harden. First 60-point triple-double in NBA history. Now, talking about this NFL, because the Super Bowl is Sunday, Super Bowl 52, where the New England Patriots look to get their whatever next number of Super Bowl.
It's going to be number 6 to be exact.
Of course.
Please do not disrespect the New England Patriots or Super Bowl, whatever.
As they
Don't
take
ever
on,
do that.
As they take on the Philly Eagles for the second time they met up in Super Bowl. This Sunday. Last time they played each other, it was Donovan McNabb at the helm. I don't remember what year that was.
It was 2004, 2005.
2004,
we won our third Super Bowl championship.
Was that number 3?
That was number 3. Yeah, and this one's going to end another trilogy.
Ooh.
For us.
Oh, how amazing statistically y'all always end the third one against Philly.
Well,
man, good job, W. I mean, just
sports. Well, okay, cool. I'll let you continue to believe in that theory that Vince McMahon has a say in the NFL when he has the XFL getting ready to launch back up.
That's because now, one thing he realizes he can't control the players. And you see how the XFL is building up with no gimmicks. Like, there's no slack. We're not going to be able to let people have their own mind, like, to be able to do their own protests and stuff. Mm-hmm. Because they realized, they was like, man, we've been doing good strategizing NFL for some years, but now these people want to have a conscience and vote and speak for themselves and stuff. We can't have that, so let's make the XFL. I'm just saying. So, on paper, it can look right.
So, Super Bowl 52 has the Philadelphia Eagles and the New England Patriots.
Yep.
My pick is still the same. I think I said 30. Did I say 33-17? I think I said.
Let me take a look back at this.
I mean, Gronkowski is still in concussion protocol.
33-16.
33-16.
Mm-hmm.
So, I feel Gronk will play. I think he'll be a major factor in it. I think this is for the first time in a long time. Well, probably the first time ever in Brady and Belichick's era that they kind of win a Super Bowl handedly. Where it's not a close game, where it doesn't come down to a final kick or a final defensive stop or a helmet catch or an interception thrown when they should have ran it. No controversy in this Super Bowl. It's just going to be a straight up, we were better that night. We outplayed them. We outcoached them. We beat them in all 3 phases of the game. And just going to be a handedly Super Bowl victory. I'm not discrediting Philadelphia. They're a good team. They have great defense. I like what Nick Foles has been able to do, given the fact of late season coming in to quarterback a team that already had chemistry built with Carson Wentz. That could easily went the other way, where they could have lost traction and potentially lost home field or not even got out of the first round in the playoffs. But to be able to do that and to get to this stage is big, but I just honestly feel this stage is going to be too big for him. I think he will fold.
Ooh.
Fold for Foles.
Goals
for Foles is that he will fold.
Okay. See what you did there.
Tom Brady wins another Super Bowl and it never gets old.
Just going to rhyme
like
that.
It just goes hand in hand. It's like a nursery rhyme, man. Look at that.
Oh, Dr. Seuss over here.
I mean, I just honestly feel like, I get a lot of credit to Doug Peterson, the Eagles. I feel like the Eagles can run it with Blunt and Ajayi, and then maybe potentially have some shots downfield with Alshon Jeffrey. They could make it a game, but I honestly feel that New England I just think it's not going to be the typical dramatic to the wire finish Super Bowl this time.
My pick is Philly finding a way. The lonely shot in the dark is going to hit, and that hit is going to be a field goal for Philly to win the 52nd Super Bowl, 38-35.
It's not going to be that many points, man. It's not going to be a shootout type game.
I'm not.
It has a feel of like a 24-10.
It doesn't have to be a
31-17 or.
It doesn't have to be a shootout. It's going to be run games. It's going to hit some breakout runs. It's going to be some pick sixes going on. It's going to be a kick. I am adding to my prediction that there is going to be some form of special teams touchdown in favor of Philly.
For the Patriots.
No, in favor of Philly.
I can see it. Danny Amendola run a punt return back for a touchdown.
No.
I see it.
Not them.
I can dig it.
You mean Danny Amendola catching the punt and getting popped and fumbling the ball?
Okay. That's very well could be a reality, I mean.
I'm just saying.
But he'll get right back up as he always does.
No, of course. It's going to go to the wire.
And look at Edelman ain't playing. That's the toughest boy on our team.
Yeah.
Edelman's tough. But I just feel like it's going to be, I think it'll be an entertaining Super Bowl, but I just think it's not going to be the drama-filled, dramatic thing that everybody think is going to come down last drive, last play. I think this one's going to be the, hey, puts us over the iceberg right there. 6-6. Brady would have 6. That means he would have 2 more than Montana, 2 more than Bradshaw, 3 more than Aikman, 3 more than John Elway, 4 more than Peyton Manning, 4 more than Eli Manning, 5 more than Drew Brees, 5 more than Joe Flacco, 5 more than Aaron Rodgers. So how can you argue that this man is not the greatest quarterback to ever play the game? It's even going into a different realm of it now. We already know he's the greatest quarterback to ever do it. Is he the greatest athlete? Because I've seen people point like Wayne Gretzky for hockey, Michael Jordan for NBA, Tom Brady for the NFL. And it's getting to that. Is he revered as one of the greatest? Now, I'm not saying when I say athlete, I'm not like in a team-oriented sport.
I'm just saying.
I'm not saying athlete. I'm
is
not
he the
saying
best football player?
I'm not saying athletically, he's the greatest or the best. But I'm just saying in a team-oriented sport.
The Mount Rushmore of athletes.
Athletes, yeah. Type thing. And, I mean, you can't just say that for Brady because a lot of his success comes from Belichick, I will say. But he's getting to that realm of conversation. Now, it's not even about is he the greatest quarterback because he's already proven that. I mean, he'll have 5 more Super Bowls than Brett Favre, who held a lot of the records before Peyton Manning broke them.
Listen, for one, you can never argue with numbers, statistics.
Because numbers what? They never what?
They never lie. Yes.
Men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie.
However, out of all the history of the greatest of whatever player, performer to ever do it in whatever situation, Tom Brady, Bill Belichick are probably the worst.
How can you ever put worse in Tom Brady and Bill Belichick in a sentence?
Let me finish.
Together?
Because they have the most consistent conspiracy, consistent controversy for almost every entire Super Bowl.
Now, I'm not saying they won't be tainted, but you still can't argue the facts. Everybody's tainted. Everybody cheats. Everybody cheats. It's just the fact of whether you get caught. You talk almost any player that's played in the NFL.
You know who
there's a form of cheating.
You know who
people try to steal
on
signals.
That motto of everybody cheats. The person who cheats and gets caught.
No,
that's the person.
Everybody does it. Everybody speeds, so you don't speed.
Huh?
Do you follow the speed limit? Do you come to a complete stop at every stop sign, or do you do a roll stop?
I'm not in NASCAR, sir. I'm
just saying. Huh? Do you follow every single rule?
I don't win a Super Bowl for
I'm just saying, though. Regardless, I'm just saying, just out of the honesty and just transparency of everything.
No, I don't. I don't.
Do you come to a complete stop?
No,
Have you ever ran a red light before?
I ran a red light today.
So I'm just saying.
That's different, though.
That's not different.
Yes, it is.
You're trying to say follow the rule. That's a rule and regulation that we have to follow, right? That we're not supposed to do that.
But that's different.
It's not different.
Yes, it is, because
that's
talking about mandating for people's safety. Like, this isn't something that, if I go a year without speeding and running red lights, somebody's going to send me a letter of congratulations and a trophy. No,
you don't have high insurance rates. You win the Road Bowl.
The Road Bowl.
The Road Bowl.
No, that doesn't work. That's not the same at all.
I'm just saying, when we're just talking about rules and stuff, the Patriots have been the rules. They're gonna be, their legacy will be tainted. But at the end of the day, They faced their fines.
They're the
for
Ric.
that.
They're the Ric Flair.
They faced. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Ric Flair cheated, and he's still revered as what?
One of the greatest.
There you go.
Because it's a scripted sport.
It's not. Get out of
because
here.
it's not a scripted sport.
It's not a scripted sport.
I rest my case.
Anyway, I mean, like I said, it's sad that some people can't acknowledge the fact of greatness and that they're living in a time and an era of greatness that you probably will never ever see again in the National Football League. I, for one, appreciate the era. I'm not biased. I just try to say that I do accept the fact that, hey, Spygate was wrong. I think they were more guilty of Spygate than they were Deflategate. Deflategate was kind of a frustration from Roger Goodell from the league because he couldn't quite pin it on Brady, but Brady didn't want to really fully cooperate with the investigation process. Yeah. And as
he broke his phone, like
that man could buy iPhone 10 every day for the rest of his life.
But if it's under an investigation and you tell me while you're being investigated, you decide, oh, you need to investigate me in personal stuff? Let me break this phone. Suspect number one.
It's his phone. Why should I have to give over my personal information? If you know I'm guilty, you should be able to prove that without me handing over.
You do something illegal, and when you get investigated, you'd be like, "Oh yeah, I can destroy my laptop."
Why do I have to give you my email and my laptop or my phone? That's my personal information. If you know I did it, prove it. But why do I have to give you why do I have to open up my life to you? You know. My conversations with my family members or people that I converse with, or my pictures of my family. Why should I have to open up my life to you? Regardless, like some people are private with their private matters. They don't want to open their life up to that. Indeed. And I don't disagree with Tom Brady for that. This is my phone. Why do I have to hand over my phone to you because of that? While we still have time, this is not designed to go into this type of argument tonight with you. Okay. I'm not going to do that with you. You're steadfast on your opinion. The Patriots will be tainted, I will say that, but you still have to say to win 6 Super Bowls. It's pretty amazing with one coach, one quarterback tandem.
Now I'll say this: I'm more acceptable of wanting Bill Belichick on the Mount Rushmore of coaches around the sports than I will be yet. I feel like posthumously, not like after Tom Brady dies, but after he retires, I feel like I'll respect him.
Tom Brady's gonna beat them.
The silence. Well, throw a touchdown, do a comeback. The first part, no one in history has come back from.
I'm just kidding, man. I'm just kidding.
Oh man.
But what I was gonna say is that you gotta have an appreciation for it. And my thing is the way that they've done it, to be that consistent for that long, with different teams, different personnel, different coaching staffs, and just the 3 things that remain constant: Bill Belichick, Tom Brady, and Robert Kraft. And they have been a very successful franchise of the new millennium since then.
You forgot one.
Before we close it out, NFL Rise, we had a big trade that hit the blocks yesterday. Alex Smith was traded from the Kansas City Chiefs to the Washington Redskins. Right. $71 million guaranteed on a $94 million deal. The deal won't be finalized until March 14th. So how do you feel about the trade, and where does this leave Kirk Cousins really quickly?
For the Kansas City side, I'm pretty shocked. I feel like they were a good team, even though they collapsed, like imploded on themselves somewhere during the middle of the season. I feel like this team was somebody that could very well make a really great run in the playoffs next year. Like, I felt like it was something small that they just could have got some chemistry right, some play calls right, or whatever, and they're right back there towards AFC Championship or whatnot. But to see that just shows like maybe they felt like their lack of faith or something came from him. What does that mean? And as far as like the Redskins side, as far as Kirk Cousins, does that also show lack of faith in him? Where does that put him during this offseason? Will we see him leave? I don't feel he is going to leave.
Redskins, yeah.
I was about to say because I don't see him.
Free agent.
I don't see him as being second.
No, he's not. He definitely is a number 1 right now.
Cleveland Browns.
No.
He's going to the Browns.
Denver Broncos is the best fit for him. With the defense that's already established, with the good running backs that they have and the receivers and Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders, I think he'll fit perfectly into that.
Tom Brady's going to retire and he goes to the Patriots.
My general manager told me that. He said that today.
Really?
He was like, Tom Brady wins the Super Bowl, he retires, he goes to the Patriots. I don't think
if that happens, though, I feel like once again they have to win, which
they will.
The script,
and to have a better appreciation of Tom Brady. If a lot of you haven't had a chance to,
if you haven't come to your senses,
if you haven't had a chance, if you all have Facebook, which a lot of us do, please check out Tom versus Time.
Yeah, you was telling me about that.
It gives
earlier.
me a new appreciation for him of how he's been able to, with pretty much go against time, play beyond his years, how his workout regimen look, his food, who he is as a person with his family. You get to see a side of him that you don't get to see. You also get to see him work out with teammates during the off season, how he's constantly looking at film. What's some of his worst moments of his career? What was some of his best moments? What's some of the stuff that drives him to be who he is? And then also, I don't know if you picked this up earlier this week too. Before they left to go to Minnesota, he does a weekly radio show every week during the football season with WEEI in the greater Boston area.
Okay.
And one of the analysts on that show watched the Tom versus Time piece.
Oh, and that's when he talked about his kids.
His daughter called her an annoying pissant.
That was so disrespectful.
Because during the show, it's just like the show is live, like he's recording, it's recording cameras on him, and his daughter just say like runs in while he's doing what he does. He's not going to ignore his kid and be like, "Hey, get back in there! Don't you see these cameras in here?" Like he welcomes her, she jumps on his lap, she plays with him, and then he's just being a dad.
Right.
His son does it a lot, interrupts the show. So I think a lot of us are just selfish for it. We just want Tom Brady. We don't want your whole family. We just want to see. We want to learn about you, not your kids. And he actually hung up with that radio show because of it. He ended the call. Now, he did say he didn't want the person to be fired for the comments. He just didn't agree with the comments. And I think you got to take a stand for your kid. Now, a lot of times, your kids you can be what they are. Sometimes they are annoying in a way.
Yeah.
But you rather say that than someone else. Have somebody who doesn't know anything about your kid to make a comment on your child, per se. But anyway, that's how that would go. But if you hadn't had a chance to look at Tom versus Time, please look at it. It is a very good documentary they did of him. But I think Alex Smith to the Redskins, I don't know how well he's going to fit into that. He'll get a lot of money for it.
Yeah.
34 years old to get that big of a deal. I think Tom Brady's setting the trend now. That you can still be late in years and still play beyond your years and still get a lot of guaranteed money.
I mean, but Alex Smith is pretty.
He's good.
Pretty good.
I think what really hurt him in Kansas City was they had such a great start to the season.
Yeah.
And the 5-0 start, and they kind of went
whatever happened
up
in
and
that
down,
middle of the season,
and then the playoff losses too. Like the first one he had against Andrew Luck and the Colts, where they were winning that game, and the Colts came all the way back. They were up by like 3 touchdowns in that game.
Yeah, Colts
win that one. How they lost to Tennessee this year. I mean, so
do you think this is going to make Redskins a better team though?
It could. I think it's only got it's not that they were bad. They weren't. It was just kind of like they were just stagnant.
Right.
They reached a level and they just stayed there. They never really progressed past what Kirk Cousins, because he came in after the RG3 era. Mm-hmm. And then he did some good things with him, but they just kind of gave him a couple years to say, okay, let's see what he can do before we give him this big payday.
Right.
Took him to the playoff once, lost in the wild card to Aaron Rodgers, which is not a shabby person to lose to.
Yeah.
But he just didn't really exceed their expectations, I would say.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you on that.
But I just want to know where Kurt is going to land. He's probably going to be the most sought-out free agent. But a lot of people saying Denver, possibly Jacksonville. I don't think Jacksonville will cut the cord with Blake Bortles.
They shouldn't.
I wouldn't. I would still stick with him. So we'll just see where Kurt ends up after this trade. And also, too, before we leave the NFL, we learned that they're going to address in the offseason the catch rule. What is really a catch? So, C. Moody, if I throw you my pen right now, I know you guys can't see it, but I'm going to throw my pen to C. Moody.
Okay.
You caught it, right?
Right.
Is that a catch?
Yeah.
But let's just say when you get ready to go use that pen, it falls out of your hand before you can write it, put it in a form to write on your paper. Is that still considered a catch? And I'm following what Colin Cowherd did on his show a couple of days ago. He took a mint and he threw it to one of his co-workers. He said, "Is that a catch?" And he's like, "Yeah, that's a catch. I caught it." He was like, "But let's say you get ready to open that wrapper on that mint and the candy falls out before you can put it in your mouth. Is that still a catch?" No.
Oh no, man.
So this is not even a catch anymore. It's what you do after you do this what counts.
I feel like no, I don't feel like it should be like that. Because
that's why I think they need to visit that rule.
Because if I catch it, you know, if it goes in my hand, stays in there, doesn't move, that's a catch. Now, if I, like you said, still using that pen example, if I drop it before I put it to the paper to write, I fumbled it. I didn't.
Then it's not a catch.
No, but I caught it.
But you didn't get. But the thing is, with the NFL though, you have to make a football move with the ball.
I thought if you caught it and you took 2 steps, that solidified.
But I'm saying you have to maintain possession of it.
Yeah,
all the way through. You didn't maintain possession of it if you dropped it before it got to the paper.
But
the goal is to get it to the paper successfully, without that you can write.
But to me, that sounds like me saying I catch the ball at the 7-yard line. I take my 2 steps and I drop it. That's not a catch.
I'm just saying, like, maybe when you're attacking the end zone per se, or when you're trying to catch it, because the big thing is, does the ground cause a fumble? Because the ground is what's the issue that comes between people making catches or not. And my thing is, like, if you catch it, boom, but you don't maintain possession all the way through, or it comes loose.
Now I say that they need to work on that as far as touchdowns.
I think overall in general. Because how many times do we see people that catch the ball knowing good and well that ball hit the ground, they try to scoop that thing back in real quick, be like, "Yeah, I caught it,"
and then we take it away because we know it ain't a catch.
Yeah,
but that's different. Like that's on contact. That's the point of contact. They drop it and try to pick it back up. This different between saying I caught it, I take 2 steps, boom, someone hits me, I lose it. That's no longer a catch. That's a fumble to me.
But that's like me. That's like you securing a pack of popcorn, putting it in the microwave, letting it pop.
Mm-hmm.
But then you let it burn. What good is that popcorn to you if you didn't finish out the entire process of popping that popcorn? The goal is for you to pop it enough so that you can eat it. But if you let it stay in there too long, it's gonna get burnt. So then you're just like, what's the point?
I really don't.
And it's just like you catch it. But if you don't maintain, I get the point of maintaining possession all the way through. You have to do that. Jesse James didn't do that for the Steelers when they played the Patriots. I'm just saying.
Of course, that's where it comes to.
That's what it comes to.
The fact that, the Patriots always get another rule changed after they've already went above and beyond the rule throughout the season. And then, of course, it doesn't get fixed until after they win their Super Bowl. Because that's what happened when they won their first one against the Rams. Well, once you kick a field goal, the time is supposed to stop. And they let the time run out, only having 8 seconds left on the clock.
Speaking of time running out, we are running really low on time. So we're going to go ahead and give you guys a lot of thanks. Thanks for all the support that you guys have given Sports Moods via Twitter at Sports Moods, at Sports Moods, and on Instagram at Sports Moods. If you listen to our podcast every week through Spreaker, iHeartRadio, whatever outlet you may be accessing us at, we do appreciate all the continued viewership that you have given us, all the way from Israel to Ashburn, Virginia to Atlanta, South Carolina, wherever you may be listening from. We thank you each and every week for being there for us, continuing to follow us. We're getting close into our 6th month of doing this, almost half a year.
Wow.
So we've been doing this for a while now, and we try to remain as consistent as possible. We just thank you guys for everything that you do to support us.
Yeah, definitely, man. As we always say, like us, tell a friend, tell their friend, and
tell their friends' friends.
Tell their friends, and share us, whatever you like, certain segments of it. If you got to cut and repost it or something, whatever you got to do, man, just like it and continue to follow us or whatever, man. We appreciate it, definitely, from all the places. Ashburn for always being there with us for a while now. And our new viewers, Israel, amazing that we're reaching that far. Washington and Arizona this past week. We appreciate it. And Latta, who's, close to us, so we appreciate all the viewers all together. We're actually trying to do some major things in upcoming months and stuff. We're trying to get bigger and better. We're trying to grow, as like we said, we've done it for a while. We're still young and we still got improvements, man.
Yep, enjoy the game. Super Bowl 52, Patriots and Eagles Sunday on NBC at 6:30. Let's see if the Patriots are going to solidify their dynasty.
And that is it, man. We shall see Patriots versus the Eagles this Sunday, man. As always, this has been C. Moody here with
D. Moody.
We are Sports Moves. That's 2 Moodies.
1 Duty.
Sports. We'll see you next week, guys.